Happy Friday. How's the week been for you so far? Today is the last day of the week, and next time we see you, it would be a new month. Welcome to the AM show. Across Ghana's 16 regions on the Joy News channel, around the world on myjoyonline.com, on X Spaces, on Facebook, and on YouTube. This is the best breakfast show on the block, and I'm Sweetie Abochi.
My name is Benjamin Akakwe. When we say it's the best, we mean it. But let's look at what we're serving you this morning as we welcome you aboard. We'll serve you the news, followed by sports. Now for the news review, Professor Isaac Wedi, he is Dean of Accounting and Finance at the University of Professional Studies, Accra. Then we have Kwame Nkrumah Botio, he's General Secretary of the CPP. And of course, it's been a while since you saw him, Nana Yaw Sarpong of the Movement for Change. And from there, we get into our big stories. But don't you forget, today being a Friday, we'll serve you blunt thoughts. We'll also give you that entertainment vibe with Noella Karinyali.
For our big stories this morning, the very first item on that order is the opposition New Patriotic Party. They are slamming President Mahama for presiding over the detention of Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Entwi-Boisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, in what they describe as outrageous bail conditions to unduly penalize him and intentionally intimidate political opponents. Yesterday, we saw that the minority MPs went to sit on the bare floor in solidarity with Wontumi. Meanwhile, the Deputy Attorney General has hinted that he's being investigated by Yoko for alleged involvement in fraud and money laundering. So this morning, the Chairman Wontumi saga, the question is rule of law or is it unusual? You tell us what you think and we will engage our guests to bring you some clarity to the matter. But that's not all.
Well, on the lighter side of life, do you know that the end of a romantic relationship is one of the top 5 triggers of mental health crises globally? How do we deal with the traumas associated with heartbreaks? I'm sure in recent years you've seen videos of university students, unfortunately, some of them have even taken their lives and all of that. How fatal can it be? We have a conversation on this this morning, even as we delve further into Purple Month, talking about mental health conditions you hardly hear about. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. So shoot us a message in the course of the show. And should we activate the phone lines, be one of those to call.
Well, don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Waylead Properties. We provide quality housing at affordable costs with flexible payment option. Folks, welcome aboard. Let's start with the AM news now. This is the AM News on the AM show on the Joy News channel. Details now. Tension spilled down from the chambers of parliament onto the streets of Accra yesterday as minority members of parliament staged a dramatic walkout and civil protest at the headquarters of the Economic and Organised Crime Office. Their demand, the immediate release of the New Patriotic Party Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Entwi-Boisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, who they say is being unfairly kept in custody under what they describe as unreasonable and punitive bail conditions. Now, the following report has a wrap of what happened.
In a show of defiance and solidarity, minority members of parliament abandoned the business of the House and marched through the streets to the Yoko headquarters. The protest follows the arrest and detention of Chairman Wontumi, who was picked up by Yoko after reporting to the CID. He faces allegations of causing financial loss to the state. Though he was granted bail of 50 million cedis with 2 sureties, both to be justified, he remains in custody, unable to meet the full conditions.
With all I will, and my forevermore. And have my stories, this my precious. With all I will, and my forevermore.
Second Deputy Minority Chief Whip, Jerry Ahmed Shaib, questioned the legality of keeping Wontumi in custody beyond 48 hours.
We are not against accountability. What we are against is the breaches. How do you keep someone under custody for more than 48 hours without allowing the person to go through due process? Why would we want to do this? Why is it persecution or prosecution? What is it that we are looking for as a unit, as Ghana? Are we thinking of proper governance, or we are just thinking of going after people? The disregard for Article 14, the disregard for Article 296, it's just worrisome, and we need to step up now.
The MPs arrived at Yoko headquarters hoping to be heard, but the agency's gates remained shut. No official came forward.
Well, we are making that arrangement through you, because from Parliament we came here. So far, nobody has made himself available. Yes, that's what I'm talking to. Yes, please. Grateful. Yes, sir.
Oh, I just see the MPs sitting on the floor as part of the grievances.
What followed was a rare sight. Elected lawmakers sitting on the road, staging a silent civil protest. A gesture, they say, speaks to the urgency and injustice of the moment.
Headquarters, in a Rambo style, he's arrested. You interrogate him, he makes himself available. Your next thing is that go and bring title property worth 50 million cedis. What kind of country are we in? Have they looked at the constitution? They should vary the bill term. The man is unwell. He's in their custody. They know.
But the standoff continued with no audience granted by Yoko. As tensions simmered on the road, so did emotions in a growing crowd nearby.
May I thank him to observe things? And this was making a blind argument, because they've given a person, according to his lawyer, they've given him bail.
This is witch hunting. It's not right. What is not right? This is real witch hunting. You understand me? Because all of us are in Ghana. Wontumi hasn't been given any government appointment.
But not everyone shared that view. Some felt the minorities' walkout was unnecessary drama.
This is politics. It's not law. It's politics. And that is why we have to draw the attention to it, that this is unacceptable. They are using the coercive power of the state in an attempt to intimidate political opponents.
As the sun beat down on the protesting MPs, it became clear this was more than a legal battle. It had become a political standoff. Chairman Wontumi remains behind bars, and the minority says Parliament will remain empty of their voices until he is released or his bail conditions are eased.
Those in charge must be professional. What is happening to Wontumi can happen to me today, tomorrow. It can happen to my respected senior here, tomorrow. My mother here. Enough is enough. We are not just going to walk away. We are not just going to walk away. We'll be here.
As night falls, Chairman Wontumi remains locked up and the minority is digging in for a prolonged battle, vowing not to return until they are heard and the original chairman walks free.
What happened to Mr. Bernard MP Boasiako, known as Chairman Wontumi, is nothing short of a national disgrace. It is a stain on our conscience and a threat to every citizen who still believes that Ghana is a land governed by laws. This was not an arrest. It was a clear ambush. It was a calculated display of brute force.
Tonight, the standoff continues. Yoko is yet to publicly respond to the minority's demands, but Chairman Wontumi's arrest has lit a political wrath, one that could burn for days if he's unable to meet the bail conditions or secure a variation from Yoko.
Moving on from that, as Ghana battles deep-rooted challenges like corruption, unemployment, and gender inequality, sociologists at the University of Ghana say the missing link is clear. Policy decisions are being made without their input. Speaking at the 75th anniversary of the Department of Sociology, Professor Clara Foyose, the Dean of the African Leadership Institute Graduate School, emphasized that sociological research offers deep insight into the root causes of these problems. Yes, more.
Several dimensions of society and its problems, its challenges, and we've tried to resolve some of these issues. Now, there's still a long way to go because some of the problems that we have investigated over the years are still very persistent. And one of the most pervasive problems that we have now is corruption. Corruption everywhere. Corruption from the lowest to the highest level. I've also talked about gender issues. We've had legislation on gender and so on, but there are still issues that we are not addressing. And these issues are based on our traditions and norms. And since sociology deals with values, norms. Now, one thing that really touches my heart is the underemployment and unemployment of our youth.
The chief of Mafi Adidome, Togbi Kwasinyini Kololo Ajiman V, and alumnus of the department called on the relevant authorities to consider key sociological research when making national decisions.
I think it goes to the authorities, particularly the government and the educational ministry. Sociology over the years have had several researches. The big question is, how do this research impact or influence social policies? It is important for us to have an advocacy where we need to drive, the need for policymakers to know that sociology or sociologists as the doctor of society who are able to diagnose societal issues, problems, and why things happen the way they happen in societies. We need to have a body that will drive that.
Now, headmistress of the Wa Methodist School for the Blind, Reverend Monica Abalori Achana, has made a passionate call to the government to speed up the distribution process of the Free Sanitary Pads initiative to enable it to reach their beneficiaries. 2 months after the launch of the initiative by President John Dramani Mahama, the Wa Methodist School for the Blind's headmistress says, though the initiative is good, they are yet to benefit or get their share of the sanitary pads. Reverend Monica Balori Achana made the statement after a non-profit organization, Voice of Women and Children with Disabilities, donated sanitary pads and other items to 150 girls in Wa. Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
According to the Executive Director of non-profit organization Voices of Women and Children with Disabilities, VOWA Ghana, Juliana Efie Mahmoud, her office focus is on 5 thematic priority areas that includes providing reproductive health services to women and girls with disabilities on menstrual hygiene and breast cancer awareness campaigns. Based on the former, selected girls number 150 drawn from the Wa Methodist School for the Blind, Wa School for the Deaf, Don Bosco Special School, and other schools that have children with impairments were brought together to celebrate Menstrual Hygiene Day. VOWA Ghana donated several items to the girls, including sanitary pads, body lotions, deodorants, panties, and assorted items valued at 50,000 Ghana cedis.
We are also giving them items worth 50,000 and above, which include sanitary pad, panties, underwears, sure roll-ons, washing soap, bathing soap, and a lot of items, so that these girls can also, as they are learning, they can also improve upon their hygienic conditions.
She appealed for more support from benevolent organizations and individuals to enable them succeed in their mission. Headmistress of the Wa Methodist School for the Blind, Reverend Monica Abalori Achana, whilst thanking VOWA Ghana for the donation, her eyes are already set on the Free Sanitary Pad initiative of the government, which was launched in April 2025. Though she commended the government for the initiative, she pointed out that 2 months after the launch, they are yet to get their share of the free sanitary pads. Reverend Monica Abalori urged the government to speed up the distribution process.
We haven't received it yet. We haven't received it. Yes, we heard about the free distribution of sanitary pads from the government, but we haven't received ours yet.
So on this special day, what do you have for them?
So on this special day, I'm asking the government to speed up and bring it, because this one doesn't wait for anyone. It comes as it comes. It's natural. So they should bring our own.
One of the girls shared her thoughts on the donation.
Because it will go a long way of helping me. It's not easy to buy a pad, but as they have given it to me like this, I'm very happy and I'm very grateful.
Reporting for the news, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Let's stay up north a bit, because the municipal chief executive for the West Mamprasi municipality, Mohammed Rabiu Jaba, has pledged to ensure that all new school buildings in the municipality include proper changing rooms for girls to manage their menstrual hygiene. Speaking at the Menstrual Hygiene Day celebration in Waliwali, Mr. Jaba highlighted the need to make menstruation more manageable and less stigmatized for schoolgirls. He stressed the importance of providing safe and dignified spaces to support girls' health and school attendance.
World Menstrual Health Day is set aside each year on the 28th of May to celebrate the day and to create awareness and highlight the importance of good menstrual hygiene management at a global level. As part of this year's event, Plan International Ghana celebrated the day with students of the Waliwali Senior High Technical School. Speaking at the event, the municipal chief executive, Mohammed Rabiu Jabbar, said he was keenly monitoring the rollout of the free sanitary pad by government and would ensure the municipality gets its fair share.
I am keenly following the rollout of the intervention and will ensure we receive the right allocation of the municipality and ensure its proper distribution. Again, on making menstrual period friendly in the long run in the municipality, I am going to ensure that henceforth any school building project in the municipality must include a decent changing room for girls to manage their menstrual flows during their hours.
The headmaster of the school, Reverend Ibrahim Sebiam, appealed to Plan International Ghana to support the school with water, highlighting the challenges the students face.
School management wish to humbly appeal to Plan Ghana International to provide a female-friendly KVIP toilet facilities, changing rooms, and potable water for the female students. Currently, our girls are struggling because their toilet facilities are either in deplorable state, dysfunctional as a result of inadequate water supply to the school, or project abandoned by contractors.
The country director for Plan International Ghana, Constance Chona, reaffirms his outfit's commitment to partnering with government and other communities to promote menstrual equity and gender equality.
Plan International Ghana remains committed to collaborating with the government and the communities to advance menstrual equity and gender equality. We cannot achieve equality if periods are treated as problems. We cannot build a thriving Ghana if menstruation pushes girls to the margin.
The Northeast Regional Minister, Ibrahim Tia, commended Plan International Ghana for their unwavering commitment to development in communities in the area.
Allow me to commend Plan International Ghana for their unwavering commitment to the development of our communities, particularly in the West Mamprasi municipality. Their interventions under the Integrated Package for Sustainable Development, IPADEV, projects exemplary and deeply impactful notable achievements include the construction of 6 boreholes fitted with hand pumps, 4 limited mechanized water systems in Tunguri zone, soon to be commissioned. Additionally, the Tunguri water systems has been rehabilitated through partnership with the Community Water and Sanitation Agency.
In other stories, Joy News checks have uncovered the increasing use of chemicals known as intravenous bleach, which are injected into the bloodstream of beauty clinics by beauty clinics to help some women lighten their skin. In 2018, the Food and Drugs Authority issued a public health alert about expectant mothers relying on cosmetic pills to bleach their unborn babies. The head of cosmetics at the FDA, Dr. Emmanuel Nkrumah, says such practices have not been approved by the authority. In our upcoming Hotline documentary, Bleached Babies, Kwete Nate explores a growing craze to meet extreme beauty standards. Here's more.
In 2018, the Food and Drugs Authority raised a public health alert over expectant mothers relying on cosmetic pills to bleach their unborn babies. Dr. Emmanuel Nkrumah is head of cosmetics at the authority.
Glutathione has a way of doing that, but the glutathione itself is not registered as a cosmetic product to be used for skin lightening, because anything that you take in, whether oral or you inject, ceases to be a cosmetic product. It turns to be a drug because the pathway is different from that of a cosmetic product.
There are fears some women are now resorting to intravenous bleach, where chemicals are injected into the bloodstream. The agents of this practice are the beauty and cosmetics clinics dotted in cosmopolitan neighborhoods. The investigative team engaged some of these clinics, and this is how much they charge per session.
Skin ID. You do skin ID. If one call. Yeah. Not the single one. Yeah, and when we got the test, but it's not a drug that will bleach you. So we just train you for like 2 months per skin. Then you have to go for particular sections.
We just never know. God forbid anything happens, you're always going to blame the it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And also, you know, it's fluid. We're mixing it with 500 ml of fluid. I don't want to overfill her.
Oh, okay.
Especially because she's pregnant.
Dr. Bayu notes that the springing up of these clinics is worrying. He observed that bleaching through intravenous bleaching substances has far-reaching implications for every part of the body.
I think we should be very concerned about it, and I'm hoping that the regulatory agencies would quickly step in. Here I'm talking about the Health Facilities Regulatory Agency, I'm talking about the FDA and other regulatory authorities that are in this space, because I mean, not even to expectant mothers, to anybody at all, there are risks of these medications. And now it's bleaching has gone high tech.
Almost pronounced dead through pregnancy, having to leave their children to peruse higher education, building a career and eating from restaurants. Deputy Registrar at the University of Media, Arts and Communication, Dr. Eleanor Araba Entry, best describes her motherhood journey as boisterous. She's been sharing her story with Hannah Odami in the latest series, Celebrating Motherhood. Here's a sneak peek.
Bearing children is a blessing for every family, but caring for those blessings can sometimes hinder the pursuit of life goals. Dr. Eleanor Araba Entry faced this challenge when she had to pursue her master's degree to focus on nurturing her children.
I started at the University of Cape Coast. We missed that bit. As I mentioned that I read science. I started at the University of Cape Coast as a teaching assistant, and then as a teaching assistant, and then as a research assistant. Somewhere along the line, I realized I was in my field, so I moved into administration, and I left UCC as a principal admin assistant.
Really?
Straight to UDS, University for Development Studies in Tamale, because I had to join my husband. My husband was in the northern region then, so I got there. By the grace of God, I was appointed into the senior membership position as an assistant registrar, and that is when my career as a university administrator actually started. Even as a senior member and as a university administrator, I do part-time teaching. So, have you heard of a Chartered Institute of Administrators and Management Consultant? I'm a member. Yes, so I'm a chartered professional administrator and chartered management consultant.
Oh, wow.
And then I do part-time teaching with them. There are some times I have to handle courses internally for them.
Online or in person?
In person.
Ooh. She sought help, bounced back, pursued her master's and PhD, and remains on track to achieve all she's planned for herself. The academic break, though, strengthened her bond with her children, one she will always cherish.
It's been marriage, career, schooling, and then my career also as a gospel musician. And the journey hasn't been easy.
I can imagine.
Has been good, with profound memories, but has also been how would I describe it? Has also been a difficult one at the same time, especially.
You want to stay with us for the entire day because we'll bring you that report in full. And that takes us into our business update now with Benjamin Akapo.
Welcome to your business updates. Let's kickstart matters with the currency market for today. Well, Ghana, together with its partners, Vital Upstream Ghana Limited and the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation, have kicked off the Sankofa East Side Track 2, marking a significant milestone in the further development of Ghana's upstream energy sector. This report has more.
Deep Value Driller, a state-of-the-art drill ship, has started activities offshore Ghana following completion of operations in Côte d'Ivoire. Equipped with advanced automated technology, the rig ranks among the most advanced in the world in operational performance and safety. A statement from ENI said the activity reflects the partners' ongoing commitment to unlocking additional value from the offshore Cape 3 Point block, ensuring long-term production, sustainability, and contributing to Ghana's energy security. Ahead of the campaign, ENI and its partners, Vital and GNPC, carried out comprehensive stakeholder engagement programs along Ghana's coastline to ensure open communication and promote collaboration with communities.
Now, the government has announced its international partners, that Ghana continues to make good progress in the discussions with all remaining creditors in the debt restructuring perimeter. This report has more.
In a statement by the Finance Ministry, it said, the government remains committed to achieving a fair and mutually beneficial resolution with all creditors and thanks its partners for their forbearance, cooperation and support. It added that in line with Ghana's commitments to the official creditors under the G20 Common Framework, no creditor has been treated preferentially. It explained this is consistent with the principle of comparability of treatment. Government assured that it has strictly applied the provisions in the Memorandum of Understanding with our official creditors and in particular have continued to remain in arrears with all external creditors included in the debt restructuring perimeter, it concluded.
Well, from our stories, let's get into our commodities market now. That's how we cap off the news belt. But of course, you know, we get right into sports after this. And we have a brilliant feature for you. On the dusty streets of a forgotten neighborhood where dreams are often buried beneath hardship, football becomes more than just a game. For two boys bound by poverty but driven by passion, it's a lifeline and a symbol of their friendship. Daniel Karanteng tells their story in this special report.
Let me tell you a story that transcends the boundaries of a mere game. It's a tale of football, friendship, and dreams. A tale that embodies the essence of a beautiful game. A tale that began in Tumu, a town nestled in the Upper West region of Ghana. In the bustling border town of Hamile, known for its vibrant market activities and cultural diversity, a 6-year-old boy named Mohammed Fuseni faced the heart-wrenching loss of his father. Seeking solace and a new beginning, he relocated to Tumu to live with his uncle. It was in this town, rich with history and community spirit, that Fuseni's path crossed with that of Tommy Abdul Waliu. Waliu too had made Tumu his home, though his reasons were distinct. While Fuseni sought refuge and familial support, Waliu's story was different.
I come from Bele. Unfortunately, my community also has a strange story. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard about Bele Resource Reserve. I think that's the biggest forest reserve in Ghana. That's the largest. Yeah, and then when they gave birth to me, growing up, it was very difficult because there were no schools and all. So at some point, I had to question my parents why there were no schools in the community. And then my dad was like, we are on a relocation program. The government is like, we are in the reserve and then we are disturbing the animals and all that. So they have to relocate us at some point. So they cannot put any permanent structures there. If even they build a school, they will have to abandon it at some point because we have to relocate. Yeah, so fast forward, my dad had to bring me here. I was only 6, 7 years. We came here in 2008 when my dad brought me here.
I was in class 2 when he came and met me. But before he was in class 1, we used to play friendly matches, class 1 and class 2. So whenever we are on the pitch, he would beat my people. Every day he would beat my people, so I'll be annoyed. If I also get the ball, I also want to pay back. So from there I said, nah, this guy is a good player. So let me be, I want to be his friend. So as time goes on, we'll be in one team, no matter what, because we are all in the same town here. So when he came and met me in class 2, from there I said, now I've gotten a player, so my team is safe. So I will winning matches, so I won't be crying, because I used to cry a lot. When they score, I will cry because I love football.
Thus, a friendship was born. The two boys were inseparable on and off the field. In the classrooms and playground of United Basic School, one of the town's oldest basic educational institutions, Waliu and Fuseni created memories that still live with them today.
Yeah, so this is where it all started. So when I came to Tumu in 2008, my father brought me here. There's another neighboring school, just like we saw there. I think those ones, like they've made more name than this school in terms of academics. But my father said, any school you go is about the seriousness and the mindset. Doesn't matter where you school. And I've never regretted it. I passed my exam here and then I went far. But what I believe in is that the opportunities, the footballing opportunities Zongo School gave me, I wouldn't have gotten in any other school into me. So if I had the chance of attending primary school again, it's definitely going to be here. And so then if you look around, this is our pitch. When we were small growing up, this pitch used to look very big because it was under 12. But today it looks like it's not even up to a standard pitch. I don't know if it's because we've grown or something like that. Today I see this pitch and then I laugh. Hey, this pitch, the way we used to worry ourselves here, you come, you pick knocks, fresh injuries, you go home, your mom will complain, but still it's here. So these are some of our classrooms. We'll come to school dressed in the tee and then the bread uniform. Then we wear our boots instead of cross or any other decent wear. So first break, we are playing match. Second break, we are playing with another class. Then close, you have to wait, and then we used to close around 1:30. We wait, then we play another match for about 30 minutes or 1 hour. So that was how the love and then the passion we had for football looked like at the time.
For Fuseni though, playing football wasn't always a straightforward pursuit. He balanced his studies with assisting in his uncle's shop a responsibility that often left little time for leisure. Determined to play, he had to devise clever ways to fulfill his shop duties while sneaking in moments to enjoy the game he loved.
Okay, actually, when I came, my uncle took good care of me. He sent me to school. So, but he engaged me in a shop. I should be managing the shop. So, because of that, I can't have a chance to go and play the football. So, sometimes I have to beg my headmistress or headmaster to come and beg him before he give me the chance to go and play football. So, I used to suffer, but I know how to play. He himself is aware, but because I'm managing the store, he always tell me that if I go, who will sell the store? So, I should be there and be selling.
Bawa Zachary, his uncle, who embraced the role of a father figure early in Fuseni's life, reflects on the challenges of balancing parental responsibilities. He strove to instill in the young Fuseni the values of hard work and perseverance, all while supporting his booming football aspirations.
Actually, it's no easy move, but as we started, because I'm a businessman, I'm able to support him small, and then he also like playing ball and other things. So I think I've given him the chance. Sometimes it's very difficult, but I have to have patience and then consider other things to let him do whatever he likes. And if it's good, I also support.
Their passion for the game and undeniable talent saw them selected to represent the Upper West region in the 2013 Milo Games, where they faced current Black Stars forward Abdul Fattah Isahaku, who was the captain of the Northern Regional team.
I would say growing up, that had been my biggest exposure. And there I had the opportunity to meet Stephen Appiah. By then he had just retired. So he was the icon of the tournament. One good thing was also that I had the opportunity to play with Fattah Isahaku. Yeah, he came, he represented the Northern region. He was the captain for Tamale. And then fortunately for them, they won the competition and then they represented Ghana in Kenya. That would have been like a great opportunity for me and then a memorable achievement if we had qualified from that competition and then represented Ghana in Kenya. But we're not very fortunate. We won our first game and then lost the rest of the 3 matches woefully.
Waliu, the eldest of 4 siblings, hails from humble beginnings. Despite the challenges of his impoverished upbringing, he always recognized the transformative power of education in reshaping his destiny. Although he had dreams of becoming a professional footballer, he also had a burning desire to attain the highest level of education, a desire that caused his path with Fuseni to part ways temporarily. After BEC, Waliu gained admission to Canton Senior High School, Tumu's finest, with Ghanaian musician Wiyala and celebrated sports journalist Fentu Tahiru Fentu as alumni, while Fuseni enrolled at Tumu Senior High Technical School.
So there's something I believe, because in football there's a lot of mathematics on the field. So I don't believe football shouldn't be doing well in footballers shouldn't be doing well in class. So first of all, before I got to class 4, I was on top of my class. Then when I got to senior high, I was playing football, but not so much. A lot of my attention was on the on the academics, because there I had a goal, because I'd wanted somebody to sponsor my education. And then before you get a scholarship, so I was thinking about scholarship, but before you get one, you have to perform like exceptionally well in your WASI. And so I took the challenge upon myself that no, I have to excel in my WASI, I have to make good grades so that I can also be competitive, or I can also increase my chances in getting the scholarship. And so that was what I did. So I paid less attention to the football and then paid more attention to my books. So there I emerged as the overall best student of my year group. That was 2020, was the whole municipality. And so that boosted my chances of securing the scholarship. But MasterCard, before you get it, your result should be at least a year old, and then you should be academically talented. So I had to wait and then put in the application. I also had to bring the story of my village, because there's also special provision for internally displaced person. Even though I don't fit in that category well, but anybody who hears my story will pay special attention to it. I applied with some other colleagues, but immediately I sent in my application. The following month, they had called me, the secretariat, where they wanted to find out that they were like to provide evidence of the fact that I said my community had been relocated and all that. fortunately, I had received a letter from the Forestry Commission attesting to that fact. So I was kind of safe. So I was cool.
Fuseni had different fortunes after Wasi and was ready to ditch school completely to pursue his dreams of becoming a footballer.
Actually, when we completed one of my papers there, it wasn't good, so I have to go and better it. So he started for 1 year and continued, but I started about 3 years, maybe 4 years. Completed 2020, but I went to school 2025. So because of that, when I just completed 2020, so I got an opportunity at Sunyani to go and teach from basic school. So when I went, I said, no, I have to look for a team around here and play. So I was going around and I saw a football field, then I went. There was a team there called Young Goldfish. So I went and joined them. So I joined about 1 year. Then I left the teaching. I just went to the account straight because the teaching there was not, I just like the football. So when I went there, frankly speaking, it's not easy, but I've managed for 2 good years in the academy. Just anger, there's a lot of anger. Because the manager, you will never see him. We even played 3 consecutive matches and we lost. He said he would sack us from the house there, but still, every day we still go and play. So when he took good care of me, but the hunger was too much in the camp. So finally, they had to come and sack us where he went and rent for us. Because he couldn't renew the rent. So they brought police. They were throwing our things and saying, hey, to be a footballer, so he do.
Dejected and at a crossroads, he received a call from his longtime friend, who was now a second-year student of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, asking him to make a trip all the way to Kumasi to help his college in the inter-college football games, an invitation he couldn't pass up.
So from there, I said, nah, let me come back. So I was on my way, and my friend called me that they had some inter-colleges games, so I should come and help me. I said, no, I'm not a student. That they won't be able to identify. So when I went and helped them. We crowned the champions there.
Yes, and then this is him. This is when he joined me at KUST for the college games. Yes. And this myself and him again. Yeah, same event. That was the college games. Yes.
Concerned about his friend's bold decision to pursue a football career at the expense of his education, Waliu took matters into his own hands. He applied to KNUST on Fuseni's behalf, and the outcome was a resounding success.
Well, he had to even help me to apply for their school because I said I can't go there. He said I know I can do it. So when I went and met him there, so I was happy. So we used to play ball.
So he helped you apply for?
Yeah, he did everything. I was even asleep when he called me and said, bro, you have gotten admission. I said, really? I just prepared. And that's how.
So how did you feel like walking into KNUST campus?
Yeah, it's no easy because that's the best school in Ghana so far. Because to me, that's the best school. I mean, I don't check Winnie Bar because I've been seeing their post bar. KNUST is the best school because their facility, everything. Because you will never be dirty. Everything is quota. You see, style. There's shuttle. There's no stress. AC is there. Everything. You go. Yeah.
After parting ways 8 years ago, following high school, the friends have reunited on the KNUST campus. Last year, they also joined Tumu-based Division 2 side Soccer Babies FC, rekindling their shared passion for football.
So last season, they registered me for the Division 2, myself and my very close friend. And so we actually started from Division 3. So we played Division 3, we finished second, and then we were promoted to Division 2. And then we topped the Division 2 table. So that is a special achievement for ask me. From Division 3 into Division 2, Ninos, and then you're able to top. Even middle league, we finished 3rd out of 6 teams. Though that tells you the quality of players we have in the team. Yes, and so that's how the academic journey too has been. So now in my final year now, I'll be finishing school in August. Yeah, so I just have like 3 months to go. Yes, so and I'll be leaving for school very soon. I'm also reading land economy at Cambridge.
From the sunlit pitches of their youth to the haloed walls of university, their journey has come full circle. What began as a shared passion for football at a tender age of 6 has blossomed into a profound bond that has withstood the test of time and distance. Now as teammates once more, they stand side by side on the field, not just as players, but as brothers who have navigated life's challenges together. Their reunion is more than just mere coincidence. It is a testament to the enduring power of friendship and the unbreakable ties forged through the shared dreams and experiences from Tumu with love.
Welcome back on the AM Show. The AM Show is sponsored by Waylead Properties. You should take advantage of these important messages we've been giving you. And the question remains, are you thinking of a rewarding investment you can engage in? Then Waylead Company Limited is your preferred choice for such investment. Waylead Company Limited is a real estate company with several developments to its credit in Accra. You want to invest in our new development, Willow Lane, where elegance meets tranquility right here in Accra. We provide quality housing at affordable costs with flexible payment options, in addition to 24-hour security, reliable power supply, and other social amenities to make your stay a memorable one. These are the numbers to call: 0240-111-119 or 0504-499-999. You can also visit our website at www.waylead.org. My guest joining me this morning for the news review, three gallant gentlemen. Professor Isaac Boedi, Dean, Accounting and Finance at UPSA, the very first person to arrive. And then we have Nanaya Sapong. He is from the Movement for Change, second to arrive. And Kwame Nkrumah Botsio, General Secretary of the CPP, third to arrive.
That's a good roster.
My producers told me that, Prof, you have an award for waiting in the back room today, for coming early.
You should have added that last week I was first to arrive.
No, today you give an account.
So you know what they say, the first shall be the last. Gentlemen, it's good to have you back on the show.
I will not comment because I'm fond of coming very early, of course.
Who is fond of coming early?
Yeah, so let's
I'm
continue.
sorry. I want to start from the last person. Share your thoughts with us this morning.
Well,
Kuma, yeah.
I mean, what's happening in the country, it's a mixed bag of issues. There are mixed feelings, things that keep me awake, and things that make me a bit encouraged. And I would say that as they say, the economy is economy. The economy is economy.
Okay.
I heard about Barclays International PLC saying that with the way the economy is going, Ghana is bound to meet its IMF obligations this year, which is 3 years ahead of time. I think that is significant. And then also, we have His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama on his thank you tour to Kintampo, saying that with the way the dollar is going, it is likely, this is what I heard in the audio, it is likely that next year's Hajj may cost as low as 5,000 Ghana cedis. I think that is good news for everybody with a drop in the dollar rate.
So we should not speculate, but we're already hearing things that things may not be the same next week. But what do I know? Nanaya Sapong, what's on your mind this morning?
What's on my mind has to do with health. I would be attending a program at the University of Ghana Medical Center this morning at 10 a.m. This week happens to be the International Thyroid Awareness Week, and we have a foundation in Ghana called the Thyroid Ghana Foundation. It's a charity organization that is sponsoring a lot of surgery and paying a lot of bills with people who are suffering from diseases that are thyroid related. And when you have looked at the number of people who do not have an idea of the causes of these diseases and do not have the money to be able to seek for health care, then you should be worried. And so this morning we would be there, and we would just use this opportunity to extend invitations to individuals. Okay. Not only the thyroid diseases, but in general, if you are in the comfort of your room and the comfort of your office and in your church and in your mosque, you should be thinking about people who are suffering from various diseases. Sweetie, if you go to the hospitals, you would understand the need for good health. You would understand that there is a need for us to enhance and have a very good healthcare system and insurance systems that would take care of individuals. People are not able to pay their bills.
True.
My church will be celebrating our 7th anniversary. That's a prayer palace. And as part of the activities, we would be paying some bills of sick people in the hospitals. And one of the hospitals that we went to gather data from, somebody has been there for over a month or two just because the person cannot pay a bill. Yes. It is less than 2,000 Ghana cedis. Yes. The family has abandoned the person. The husband is nowhere to be found. And these people are suffering. It's so sad. And so when you have the opportunity, just extend a helping hand to the needy.
Thank you, Nana Sapon, for those thoughts. And this, for me, is just what exactly is the national health insurance covering? You know, that we still have issues like these. If you have a condition that requires under 2,000 cedis, then you have to stay in the place, or what are we doing with the coverage of the national health insurance? Professor Boedi, it's your time now.
Yeah. Good morning, and good morning to your viewers once again. Two issues. One good news. The good news: the missing containers have been found. Finally, much talk about these containers.
Yeah. Well, at this point, can we really call them missing containers? Or missing but found?
Missing but found. Okay. I am particularly concerned about the awareness. When we lost this container, we found it difficult to find those containers. All over the media houses. Now that we have found those ones, I don't see the same energy.
No?
Yeah, those who were accused. We want to apologize to those people. And if you read the number of containers, the numbers don't add up. The drenching. So it's something we need to talk about. Pick it up. The next thing is on the. I saw something on Facebook, and it was put over there by Annie Sansa Dali. Yeah. There was something he wrote somewhere December, 10 December. Congratulations to President-elect of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, on this well-deserved victory. It's been a great honor serving you as a personal physician, especially during the difficult times in opposition and throughout the very tough campaign you did. Is it the same person who has been sacked?
What's your issue with that, Prof?
The same person who has been removed as a board member of National Health Insurance, claimed as a fake doctor, taking care of our president somewhere 2019.
But that's what she's saying right now. We don't know for sure if, people take to social media sometimes to write all sorts of things, especially when you win, you're congratulating you. I'm not defending anyone. I'm just saying that this is her side of the story right now.
Yes.
We don't know the other side.
It happens to a physician or a president of a country. It's a worrying situation. Where is she now?
Prof, do you want to believe it? Because I know, and we all know, that when you are a president, you have less authority.
No, this was not when he was president. Okay.
And so when you have become I think national security, yourself, and other people around you definitely identify who becomes a physician. It is of high security risk. So we should not go by her statement on her Facebook page. Of course, there are people who have made statements who even say that they are associated to you. People come to take pictures. And one of you, the social news, what's his name, Acrobato, he made a statement. He says he doesn't allow people to take pictures with him. Why? Because somebody took a picture with him, and the person was going around with the picture, duping people, many years ago. So people take pictures. People sit to eat with you in public places. You can't drive them away. People come to make statements on social media. Well, and we shouldn't take it. And even with where you are coming from, the educational sector. My brother is with Tamale Technical University. And I'm sorry to put this out. He had a colleague in his office who everybody in the school was thinking is a PhD holder.
This is it happens. But I think you took the win out of that was
because
so let's hear him out.
No, I just want that so that we don't act as though the president.
It's okay. Let's hear Prof out.
I am not at this point trying to find out whether she was or not, but we are looking at the status. Is she a doctor? Now we have been told she's not. But years ago, she claims she happened to be. I didn't write this. She wrote it herself. And if the person is walking free, then something must be done.
Okay.
Yeah, because
so
it's
that's
been
your
removed.
call, that something must be done.
Yes.
Either investigate to ascertain whether or not she
Because
faked
how can
those
you take care
medical
of a president? A fake
credentials.
doctor taking care of a president?
Yeah. It's like you said, Nanaya, it's a security matter.
It's a serious issue.
Okay.
You know, the propaganda around it is what I want us to do, so that we have a national discourse on. So yesterday I made a statement. I said that this calls for a discussion, that there should be a unit at the national security that will look into the credentials of persons who are named to occupy public offices. And not only public offices, but some of these institutions like the lecturers and everything. Because when I was called to serve with my boss, a month or two after, we were called to the national security to be vetted. So they give you a form, you add your CV to it, then you put all your credentials and everything from A to Z on that form. And they go to university.
The same thing.
These things are happening in our educational institutions. Okay, sweetie, most of these lecturers and professors, there was a case at Sunyani Technical University. The woman went, I don't want to mention her name, she went to South Africa, did 3 months and came and said she was a PhD holder. It became a whole case, a whole issue.
We have similar situations in our country before, and it's still happening. So I can understand there should be a setup to investigate all these matters. But this woman was appointed, has been appointed by the Minister of Health to be a member of National Health Insurance Authority. She claims she happened to be a personal physician of a president or ex-president then. And I'm saying that, is she walking free streets? What should we do as a country? It calls for further interrogations and discussion. We can't brush this issue off like that. Anyway, I mean, we can't do that.
Prof, you have established a prima facie case against the woman. Since it calls for further investigation. So let's get into the newspapers. Today I've given you all the major papers, so I'll just sit back and enjoy you guys do the papers. I want to start with Pastor Boidi. You have 2 papers.
Yes, 2 papers. Yeah. The Ghanaian publisher. The first story is on page 3. Ibrahim Mahama slaps Brazil Mons with 10 million Ghana suit. And I like the cap slaps. So there's another story also on the minority charges on a black card over embassy closure. And that's also on the same page 3. Afenyo Makin slams want to miss bail conditions. I think page 2 or so. Then Dr. Nick Danso sweeps triple awards at CEO Summit, page 6. The same. I don't know whether I should go through the second.
No, let's do one paper at a time. We can do maybe 3 major stories.
Okay, then let me do 2 here. The first one is on the minority charges on a black card over embassy closure. That's on the page 3. It tells here, it says that the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, Samuel Bujinapo, on the behalf of the country, a minority caucus in Parliament, has strongly criticized the recent closure. And it's about the embassy, Washington saga. The issue that we are told the minister in charge had to close the embassy, mainly because an accountant was found to be collecting funds from applicants. I mean, that's the situation. I don't know other charges anymore. But then, based on this, minority not in favor of such a decision to close the entire embassy because of an individual who, in any case, for me, anything that has to do with protecting the national peace, I'll support. But this is at the highest level. Embassy closed down because of an individual who was involved.
Do you believe it's just one individual doing this, or some sort of cabal, organized crime? Do you get a sense that this is not just one person who did this? Because if you understand, well, I read the intricate details of what went on, and it doesn't look like one human being can just do this on the blind side of the rest of the people there. Just another angle for your reflections.
I've not had time of perusing the entire allegations, but from what I've been told, it's just about it could be a cabal, but if you look at the merits and demerits of the case, will it warrant that a whole embassy should be closed down because of this? For me, there could have been other ways, which I don't have a solution. I'm not a diplomat. I don't have solutions to such. But look at number of applicants who come to the embassy for information. Some on medical conditions, some on tourism, so many not financial issues. So different reasons, that's people use to apply for a visa or to seek for advice. So going forward, it's important we look at this whole case issues very well. It can happen to other embassies as well. We have some in Canada, we have some in other places. So in a day, if we wake up and all the other embassies are recording the same thing, do we close all the embassies down? No. There must be a system that must be put in place to be able to check some of these things. So, and I hear we have posted some people over there now.
It reopened yesterday, actually.
And we have
the embassy opened yesterday. We've sent some people
So
there.
how many days? Like, they closed for about 2 days or 3 days.
I think it was up to 4
You can
days.
quantify how much you have lost for the period.
Right.
So for me, it wasn't a good taste, but they have the reasons.
Let me go around and come back to you. Let me take the views of Kwame Nkrumah and Nanaya. Kwame Nkrumah, what do you think about this Washington, D.C. embassy thing?
Well, I have to agree with Prof. I believe it was a reaction to what happened with the accountant. And as you said, sometimes he could be acting with others. And in an institution, when you uncover rot, sometimes you'd want to suspend all or most of the staff so that nobody will manipulate figures and go into the system. We are yet to have further details. And I know that we may have lost some money with the closure, but we also have to weigh the two. And until we get the full story, we can't really go all out to criticize the decision. Because, of course, you have to protect the whole institution in case there's a cover-up. If the suspension wasn't done, then anybody could have gone into the system to try and exonerate themselves. However, 4 days is a long time in an embassy's life, but with the new staff who have been sent there, I'm sure they can make up for the lost time. So we should always try and have systems or even ways to shut down aspects of the system and have all kinds of IT solutions that will avoid people logging into the system. I know some of our institutions here have it. The airports and other installations where before you go into the system, you need a particular login credentials. So that could have also been looked at. I don't know the nitty-gritties of how things operate, but I agree with Prof that we may have lost some money and we have to recoup it, and recoup it big time, because recently I was listening to how Spain has millions of tourists every year and is a third tourist destination. Ghana has a lot of such. So this should be a way for us to also open our eyes to improve things at the embassy, because uncovering this means that there may be other untoward things going on in the embassy, which may even be holding back tourists from coming. Some of the Ghanaian American citizens I know, sometimes they complain about the services and the delays and other things. And I think if it affects Ghanaian US citizens, then the other US citizens themselves may be facing worse dilemma. So it's a wake-up call for all of us.
Okay, thank you. Nanaya Sapong.
Yes, really.
On this matter.
Yes, I don't know if I have a different testimony to the whole issue, because the gentleman is not in charge of accounts. The gentleman is the head of IT. And what he did was to have manipulated the web page of the embassy, all right, and then divert traffic onto his private company's web page, where he then takes money from them to offer services. Now, what he did was that the embassy had identified a challenge, which he, the IT officer, is supposed to have created a solution to the problem, but rather use that as an opportunity to create a company for himself, and then, as though he has brought a solution to us, but diverted the funds, the revenue. That is not for government, but then directed everything to his private company. Now,
well, I don't know if he diverted funds. He was using
diverted
his
the traffic
website, traffic. So he charged them more than necessary to take monies for.
Yes, okay. And this is a challenge that the embassy had, which he was supposed to actually provide a solution.
Yeah.
Because you've been hired, whether on contract, whether on permanent, whether part-time or as a consultant, you've been hired to provide solution. And yet he provided the solution for himself. That is very criminal. You understand me? Now the basic, US does not have only one embassy. We don't have only one office. We have one in New York, and we have one in Washington. So if Washington is closed down for us to clean this road, there is nothing wrong. New York is working. On the other hand, they have 3 other satellite embassies. I've forgotten the name they give to it, but these is like the way the DVLA is working. You know, they have an office and they have private people also creating an office and operating. And they have about 3 of that also or more in other states. So it is not as though the work of the embassy came to a halt or a standstill and nothing was happening. Other embassies, other offices were working. But the point is that the amount of money and the amount of rot and the problem that was being created, halting the work of the embassy for 3-4 days to solve that problem is, to me, in my personal opinion, there is nothing wrong with it. This rot has been going on for 8 solid years. Or more. And if you listen to the testimony of persons who have worked there before, it is an issue they realize. In fact, someone like Kofi Tonto, who worked there, said that he actually investigated and put out a report. But as you said, it's an organized crime, a syndicate. There are a lot of people whose hands are in it because you cannot operate. Sweetie, your IT officer cannot put a link on the official web page of Joy News TV without certain individuals or management staff knowing that that is what he has done. And I asked a very fundamental question. I think he said he sued Ghana for defamation or Zilla Blackwood for defamation. But the fundamental question I asked was, if you are saying that the people knew, was there a contract between you and the embassy or Ghana as a country? That is number one. Number two, if you put your link on my webpage and you direct traffic, it means I am hosting you. And we know that when you are hosting somebody, it's not for free. How much money have you paid to the embassy or to the country called Ghana? We should look at all of these things.
It has a lot of similarities with what the
this is pure conflict. Yes, what he did. This is pure conflict of interest and thievery. I mean,
all right. So just to answer your question, we have 2 diplomatic representatives in the United States. We have one in Washington, D.C., an embassy in Washington, D.C., and a consulate general
in New York.
So it was only one that was closed down.
It was only one that was
closed. Because the media report says embassy. So I
it was just a Washington embassy.
That is why we need education on some of these things. One information I put out there beholds on the
I think there's a call on the Foreign Affairs Ministry to do more, because there are even some countries that operate more, the embassies operate in more than one jurisdiction. You understand? And I mean, we need more education on some of these
Prof,
things.
I see the biggest story on your paper from all the way here. I want us to get into it. Minority caucus.
I think it runs across all the figures today. So after this, I'm not sure I'll be able to come back to this. The same story. Afenyomaken slums Wontumi's bail conditions. It's all about Wontumi. In fact, for the whole 1 week, it's all about Wontumi.
Oh, you beat me.
Actually, can he?
Oh, he should be governor.
There are moral lessons.
Can he?
There are moral lessons. There are moral lessons here, a lot. I will pick about 2 or 3. Power is good. Whenever you hold on to power, you must hold it well and use it well. Now then, this year teaching them well for our lives, you know? And it's a lesson to them that next time when they get the opportunity to come back to power, they should hold power well. I was just looking at the pictures of their minority, the mighty minority kneeling down.
So on a lighter note, Prof, is it strange for you that Afenyomaken was vehemently opposed to the idea of sitting in the minority side in Parliament? And here he is sitting on the bare floor. Thankfully, someone gave Madame Patricia page
You don't expect my party to sit on the
but
floor.
this is happening marking yo. Like this is happening. Is it not interesting? In solidarity.
No, this is also
this is yoga exercise.
No, but it makes for interesting politicking in this country. Yesterday I was really taken aback.
For years to come, this picture will be trending.
No, he was doing yoga exercise.
I saw something happening with the
yoga.
hands.
Yeah.
Someone said it was a masonry thing.
Oh, no.
It's
an exercise they do.
Okay, let's talk about the issue seriously.
It's funny, but there are a lot of implications in this. Who was now has fallen. And these
Has he fallen?
Well, I'm talking about the pusher.
Okay.
That's to let them know. You know, what is the whole issue here? After the elections, Wontumi is picked up, and he's facing multiple offenses or charges. One, I hear there was an issue with SM Bank.
Yes.
Then mining-related charges, international transactions.
Money laundering.
Money laundering. In fact, when I heard international transaction, I was thinking of his decision to buy Chelsea. Did he send money to my team to buy Chelsea? That's on the flip side. You know, he's been charged.
Yeah.
Did he go to the CID office? Yes, he went first, interrogated. When he was about to be discharged, he was picked up by Yoko. Let's pick the characters into 4 or so.
Okay.
The first is the SM Bank. They've granted a facility to this person for other activities. He fails to pay the money. I'll look at the rest of the issues, but I'm focusing on the financial transactions between him and SM Bank. Anytime you want to grant a loan to someone, there are certain conditions that you must fulfill. And in credit, you know, there are 5 C's: the capacity, the condition, the character, the capital. These are conditions the collateral the person is supposed to fulfill before you grant a loan. So a whole institution, SM Bank as at that time, granting a facility to Wontumi, I want to find out, did they check all these conditions, or just because he was a politician, under pressure, they gave the loan to him? Did he provide collateral? Collateral is simply a fallback position. When you fail to pay, we can fall back and collect our money. Did he provide collateral to the loan that he secured? I don't know. So if you are picking him up, I expect equally, those who provided the facility must also be questioned. If they are available, they must be picked up for questions. Because you granted a loan, the loan has gone bad. And now we are chasing Wontumi to pay. So where are those people? That's my concern. In any day, nobody is above the law. The president, an MP, or a minister, or a mere me, I am not above the law. So if I take money from an institution, I must pay. I must pay. If I don't pay, activate all the clauses what you have and come after me.
Are you saying that it's unfair that they've left the lenders and they're chasing the Wontumi alone? No. But don't forget, Wontumi also is not just because of that facility from Exim Bank that he's wanted, or the Yoko picked him up.
I said multiple of charges. So I picked one. The other one, we can come back to those.
But I wanted to get if you think it's unfair, what they're doing to him.
No, I'm saying it might not be, I can't say unfair. If it's about treatment, that he should be granted bail, an amount of bail to pay, I can't question it because that's a procedure.
Okay.
But then, was he invited? Yes, he was invited. Was he picked up again? Yes, he was picked up again. Is he sick? If he's sick, if he's not well, we should not detain him. He must be attended to. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. But then, whether it's unfair or not, I'm saying that there were other people equally who gave the loan to him. Where are they?
Okay.
They must also be.
All right.
Then on the illegal mining-related matters, I hear he doesn't contact mining also part of. In fact, our forests have been degraded and all. We have problem with our system. If he doesn't have our license to operate, that's another discussion. But the point is that justice must be done, but must be seen to be done.
The optics are important.
It's very important because the whole of this last week up to today, it's all about to me.
All right.
But then those who will go after when a political person is arrested, I don't know what is wrong with our country. When someone is picked up, solidarity is good, but it shouldn't be at the expense of our productivity. Look at the number of people who have to, because of Wontumi, have to be there. And it's not only MPP. It's all about all the political parties. I don't know whether it's our weather. Because if you live in other jurisdictions and the weather is cold, I don't know how many people will be able to go and stand there. Some they don't even have an idea what is happening to
The
them.
man asked that people come. He said Mema Mumbra or something. And his people are just showing solidarity.
But for me,
they're responding to that call.
For me,
This
I'm
is
saying
really
that it's good.
mischievous.
That's why the MPs, they are there to support
Yeah.
him. I don't have a problem. But I'm saying that across all political parties, look at Woyomi case. I can give you high-profile cases in the same situation. So we should also respect our production, our productivity over a period. So that is good. We must also go and support him. But then some people will go there, they don't even have an idea what is happening. You have not met the man before, but they'll be there. Anyway.
Someone said yesterday, I watched on our channel, that he came to collect money, that he was paid the last time. So he's here now. And he said he was paid 1,200 or so, something.
1,300?
1,300, yeah.
For attending such.
Yeah. So I think...
So it's a business.
There's a strategy to it.
Wow.
You know, and also it's also because of the optics. Whatever you're going to do to our person, if we are a lot here, probably you wouldn't treat the person as badly as you would do if there were no eyes on you. So the numbers sort of play the role of an eagle eye. So we are all here watching. What are you going to do? You know, and it's just part of our politicking as a country, I think.
But I hear he's not
Prof,
well.
I need to move on from
I
here now.
hear he's not well.
Yeah.
But it should, if he's not well,
Yeah.
he should be given the opportunity to be treated.
He has
So
visited
that-
the hospital like twice already.
I've seen a
hasn't he?
picture of
Yeah,
him.
twice already.
Yeah, Osonopa.
And then back into the Iyoko chambers.
Osonopa.
I'll start with Section 69 of the Iyoko Act, which gives Iyoko the power to do certain things.
Yeah.
And it also expressly states that this power shall be exercised through the High Court and the Circuit Court. 69(1) says, the High Court and Circuit Court have jurisdiction to try an offence provided for in this Act. In a trial for an offence under this Act, the accused person may be presumed to have unlawfully obtained pecuniary resources or property in the absence of evidence to the contrary if the accused person and the enumerates. So the interesting thing about the Iyoko Act is, even though innocent until proven guilty, there is a twist there where you can be presumed guilty until you show your innocence. So the powers of Iyoko are quite weighty. It's one of the exceptions to guilty until proven innocent. And it states that this can be done if you are in possession of certain resources which seem to be beyond your income, if at the time of the alleged offense you can't satisfactorily account for the resources you have, and also in respect of taxes. However, these powers do not mean that Iyoko has a wherewithal to infringe on people's personal liberties. When I heard of the case at first, I was a bit enraged that he had been kept for 5 days. But now I'm hearing that today will be the 3rd day. We know about the 48-hour rule. It's everywhere. And we know the famous case of Martin Kpebu's case, where every offense is now bailable. Iyoko has given bail of 50 million Ghana cedis. he has not been able to meet it. Today is the third day, so he's expected to be taken to either the Circuit Court or the High Court as under Order 69. And I believe that is what will be done. And I was a bit taken aback as one of those who were enraged, only to discover that it's not 5 days, but it is 3 days. And also, I like to mix the law with a bit of morality and all that. Certainly the law is the law, but you have to interpret it with the surrounding circumstances. The events are unfolding, and as is stated in Proverbs 18:17, in a lawsuit, the first to speak seems right until someone comes forward and cross-examines. So I would refrain from imputing any wrongdoing to Wontumi until we have heard the side of the story. Because in this country, we have a lot of entrepreneurs doing very well. We have Dr. Nick Danso, who has Nick Petroleum and Ghana Link and all these wonderful companies offering employment and feeding the economy. Certainly, Chairman Wontumi is known as what you call a politically exposed person, which means that every move he makes, every business he does, he may have an added advantage because of the political position he holds. But that does not mean that his entire business is fraudulent. So let's wait for today to pass. Today is the third day. And there are many cases, even from the CPP era, where the judiciary was really respected. I mean, I have always said that Ghana's judiciary is one of the strongest, and I have strong faith in them. We have the case
on that point about our judiciary being the strongest, is there nothing more that his lawyers could have done?
They can.
Isn't it too
and
late?
I was about to quote,
are they not delaying the...
There's a famous case, yesterday, coincidentally, I was in the Supreme Court with his lawyer. But I suppose maybe he's waiting for the 48 hours to run. And there's a famous case of Ria Koto and seven others. Bafwa Koto, where the court... I think it was a habeas corpus application. Yes. All these things are open. And the Deputy Attorney General, Dr. Sremsai, also brought a habeas corpus application on behalf of Oliver Baka from Avo during the, I think, the coup trial. So these remedies are available. But sometimes, as a lawyer, you'd prefer for the 48 hours to run out.
Is that the card they're playing, or is this just good for the opposition?
It's
if you're keeping him there for 48 hours and his lawyers are watching it go on, then they can mass onto the streets and say, you are, terrorizing us, you're doing this. I think
it also contributes to the optics. And it also contributes to the optics. You see, and somebody was asking whether IOCO is a political organization. Why are people saying that IOCO is unduly holding him? Of course, I've seen that they've held him for 48 hours. Today is the third day. But as to whether it's a political organization, I think Ghanaians, we should try and be honest with ourselves. If IOCO and other institutions are not political organizations, then why are the personnel changed every time a new party is in office? We need to check that.
Nana Asapo, is it surprising that someone who wanted to buy a whole football club, an international football team, cannot provide 2 sureties on this 50 million?
It's cheap.
I can understand small. I mean, if you can buy Chelsea. Now you have lost me. Because my fee is just enough for how I advise. I don't understand.
Let us.
Oh, you mean talk is cheap?
Talk is cheap.
I know you understand the word. Talk is cheap. You understand? Somebody was able to display
gold bars, like
bars of gold, worth millions of dollars on a live television. Somebody who tells us that the necklace around his neck, the one he has been wearing, is worth millions of Ghana cedis. Today, would come to tell me that he cannot afford a 50 million Ghana cedi bail condition. Lawyer, you see, I am happy that you quoted the section 69 of the IOCO Act to tell the powers that IOCO has. And I am also happy that you went into Order 69. But you see, most of those who led the protest yesterday are lawyers.
Exactly.
And that is what is so sad.
so sad because if you would want Yoko to vary the bail condition, you go to court.
Yeah.
You do not march on the streets. And sweetie, you see, Yoko and the security services have an operational strategy. And the operational strategies they use or they build, it varies from individual and from situations. The environment within which the operation is going to take place, the person who is involved, the history of the person, and the utterances of the person all feeds into drawing the strategy of how the person is picked up. Information we have gotten is that Exim Bank has been looking for him to serve him for so many weeks that they can't find him.
Information from where? What's your source?
Now, when they had gone to...
After the change of government.
When the CID had gone to his house, I refuse to be distracted. When the CID had gone to his house and they had called him, you know we are able to tell where you made your very last call.
Yes.
Yeah.
If they want to.
Yeah.
Where he said he was not was where he was.
Oh.
And that was why the CID was forced to invite the NIB to support them. And lawyer, it is there in their act that wherever the CID or the security services need support from their sister agencies, they are able to invite for it, unless I am lying. You get it. Sweetie, what is happening? If they say that anybody's human right has been infringed upon, I am not a lawyer, but it is a lie. Okay? I'm not a lawyer, but let's read them.
Yeah.
If you look at the chapter 5, we talked about the fundamental human rights, the 14.2a and b, which deals with the restrictions and the arrest. It says, the B, I think that one would even help us easy. Was upon a reasonable suspicion of his having committed or being about to commit a crime, a criminal offense. So when they have that information, that not that you have, but a reasonable suspicion. I know everybody in Ghana knows that we suspect that Wuntumi is involved in Galamsey. This is not news. We all suspect.
But we saw a documentary produced from a ministry.
They have been covered.
Yeah.
We suspect. To the extent that a former Lands and Natural Resource Minister had accused his company. And I think that there were processes that were taken for their licenses to be withdrawn. And we had a whole certain president coming out to defend a private company on an issue of national security. Galamsey is a national security issue. They're destroying our water bodies. People are dying.
So what are you saying, Anaya? Let's wrap it. Are you saying that this bullet had his name etched on it?
Nobody.
He had it coming to him.
His human rights were never infringed upon, because if he had actually adhered to the core, nobody would cause his arrest on the roadside.
All right.
Number two, I am proposing that, you see, the Yoko and the CID and the NIB should build up sick bays in their places.
Yeah.
If we have people who genuinely would be sick, and because of their age would need some kind of intensive care, somebody like Professor Amir Kumfi, whose case came up, have you seen anybody or heard anybody laughing or speaking against it? No, because of his persona, his personality. Because he has demonstrated statesmanship. And at his age 80, if he says he's not well, everybody knows and would believe he's not well. But a young man who comes to say that until he gives a clearance, you cannot come into a region here in Ghana, comes to tell me less than 24 hours after he has been arrested that he's sick. We can't just give him.
So I think that what's going on is some sort of mind game, right? Raising this issue in
you
Parliament.
Just said mind game.
Hold
I'm
on.
coming. Just a second.
We need to move on.
He wants to become national chairman of the NPP, and he thinks he can ride on some of these propaganda to win the sympathy of the grassroots. No, you have done crime. Go. His PA. I've sent you a video. Give it to your producer. His own PA, one of his PAs, who is a host of a show on his TV station, said that nobody, when anybody is arrested, any APP member or minister or state head is arrested for causing financial loss or for stealing money whatsoever, nobody should go and support the person in court. No, or the tape is there. You listen. This is not
his own PA.
His own PA said it. So if you are not going to he didn't know that this day will come. It is there.
I sent a video to my producer. He'll look at it, and if we can play it for you to see as well. But I think that raising this issue in Parliament, the number of lawyers who marched onto the streets yesterday, your analyses right now about how he was picked up, what brought about the manner in which he was picked up and all that. I feel like they're doing this for us, the public. We are the consumers here. Yeah. It's like content. They're strategically creating a certain narrative. Yeah. And so it depends on what you see and hear, then you know, they're cutting sympathy and favor from us. So the onus falls on us as citizens, as, what should I call it, pundits in the media circles, to be very analytical, you know, reading between the lines, know exactly what you're saying before you say it. Otherwise, you might just be playing into their game, and you don't know.
but when they start like this, ask yourself the end results. Accountability. We'll start with all the fleeting headlines.
Sweep accountability under the carpet like that?
Headlines. No. When we finish, go back and check. What did we get as a state?
What is the story, really? What is the story? Let's move on, gentlemen. Let's do some other stories now. And let's see how this Wontumi case will progress today. And for the rest, I mean, it's Friday. Hopefully, he gets to go home. For me, it's just his lawyers. What are they doing? Why are they playing into this whole, you know, human rights thing, where you can simply go and file whatever you need to file and get him out of there?
He's unlikely to go. Even if the court grants the bail today, I don't know whether he'll be able to.
On Tuesday.
In fact, even on the part of Yoko, I also think the mind game is there. Asking for 50 million, right? If he produces any of his properties, they're going to investigate the source of the money or wherever. And if any of them sort of uses
are you preempting what will
I'm not preempting. I'm just saying, you know, sometimes I try to see what the game really is. And if you follow 50 million, are you saying want to make? Are we saying that he cannot?
The bars of gold he put out there.
But he also knows that if he gives them something, they will leverage that to profit.
It's a result of the gold he's paid.
I have to jump your story now.
No, but you know, Prof mentioned this. The headline that
what's the headline?
The Bright Simon's headline. And I just want to have
Ibrahim Muhammad sued him, and he's been ordered to file his defense.
It is time we established a high standard and a high level of decorum in our political communication and propaganda. It is time, as a country, we establish that high level of decorum. See, we have the opportunity to sit on this platform. We have the opportunity to have followers on our social media handles. Whatever we say, whatever we type, people who do not have the energy and the time to interrogate and to do proper analysis.
They take our word for it.
They take our words for it. And so when I saw the suit, I was excited. Because you see, it is hard time we push people to provide evidence, to tell us the source of their information, and to break down whatever they say. If we don't do that as a country, all right, it will get to a time anybody at all can type anything at all, and people will believe it.
Look at that misinformation about 5 days, and then it turns out it's not even, you know, it's not even up to 3 days. As at the time they were saying that. So yeah, let's be careful that we don't play into their game. You know, they use us, they rely on newspapers and, you know, these headlines. But let's discuss that briefly and then move on to, I think, the News Center or the Ghanaian Times.
Yeah, I think I also agree with what he said. You shouldn't just throw information out there, especially somebody of Mr. Ibrahim Muhammad's caliber. We all know of his philanthropic acts and all that. You don't just get up and throw allegations out there without evidence. And even if you have evidence of something untoward, the institutions are there for you to have them look at it. Just going around sullying his name is not the right way to go. So it's a lesson for all of us who have the privilege and opportunity to speak on these matters, or even at conferences or seminars or workshops. You don't just say anything. You have to do your research. And even if you have your evidence, it's not every forum that you present such statements.
All right. I know that he has 8 days to respond, file his defense.
We should be mindful whatever we say. Internet will never forget. Internet will never forget you. So some of these issues, I don't know, it's too early days yet. Even given a suit of, I think, 10 million. Let's see and watch the space to get the outcome. But it's a lesson to everyone.
Okay. Yeah. These days, when I hear 10 million suits, I don't shake because I know it can be beaten down to $500.
$500. You remember that story? I sat here and said that it will not happen.
Can't you increase the money to 50 million?
Say again.
This 10,000 is too small. You can increase it. Now it's about 50 million.
You are the one saying it, not
because
me.
he didn't display gold on there.
No, he didn't. Maximum didn't display gold.
Okay, so let's get into, I think, the Inquisitor. Yeah,
Yes.
you have 2 papers. Quick headlines and then which
So
of the stories?
we have the Inquisitor, Nick Danso, Dr. Nick Danso sweeps 3 awards at CEO Summit. And Africa must own its gas future, NPA boss. And Opoman turns Smarty Wontumi. And NPP flag bearership race, Brian is confused. And of these headlines, I would want to tackle Dr. Nick Danso's own first. It's on page 4 and 8. It says Dr. Nick Danso AJ, I'll just summarize, Executive Chairman of Ghana Link, has once again cemented the status as one of Ghana's transformative leaders, and it lists his growing list of accolades, among them Lifetime Achievers Award and other things. I think even I, as a politician, I always pray that the youth follows the businessmen, the entrepreneurs, the professionals, the journalists, the doctors, more than they follow the politicians, because that is where the real progress lies. Politicians are servants to create the enabling environment for the businesses and other things to progress. And Dr. Nick Danso has shown the way. I mentioned before about Nick Petroleum, Ghana Link, and other things. And it's a good sign. I always say that one of the countries I admire is Switzerland. Recently, they had their landslide, and they were even carrying cows by helicopter. Videos, you know, and apparently nobody died, but one person is missing. You can't really have that in Africa. I mean, I can't say Africa, but I'd say maybe parts of Ghana. You have the people perishing together with the livestock because they focus on what is important, what is progressive. We like to focus on the wakame. You know,
those few days of rain we had, we lost lives.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
It's sad sometimes when you think about these things.
Exactly. So we should change our focus and follow people like this and professionals who are making it. And then we have, Brian is confused. And indeed, I have to admit that a lot is going on in the NPP, which it looks like they're in serious crisis. That is also on page 4. As a new, I heard a story yesterday on Join yesterday. I think the news bulletin, as to how he has set up a
committee to check his candidacy.
To check his,
know.
And I was saying, hey, it's
meanwhile, I know that the party had issued a directive that they shouldn't approach something about not campaigning or approaching delegates till officially they open.
Exploring.
Exactly.
Ah well.
Exactly.
Please,
I mean, they are making the work of my learned friend Kodua very difficult. I mean, Kodua, I see he's a fine gentleman trying to do his best, but the party is in total disarray. They also need a reset. I'm not saying my party is perfect. We are also trying to get on our feet, and we are making strides. But things like what Dr. Champon has done, I don't think.
Is this not normal for a party that just went into opposition? You see that it appears the foundation is shaky a bit. Is this not normal?
Yes, but if you really care about your party, you don't shake the tables. You try and help. You know, a strong internal democracy contributes to the success of every party. That is what Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah taught in the CPP. That is why the CPP was so powerful. Without that, could we have taken the country to independence? As at that time, CPP was not the only political party. people have their ambitions, but you put your ambitions aside. See how you can build your party to do what political parties exist to do, to better the lot of the citizenry. That is what we are there for.
Yeah.
We are not there to enrich ourselves.
Okay.
And then we have Opoman turned Smarty to me, Abraham Bwedi, a.k.a. Opoman. Apparently he has taunted, yes.
The lion with a big head.
Yes, he said there's Opoman, and he said that Wontumi should carry his own cross. He said today it's about guns and slaps matter. So Wontumi shouting for party people when indeed, when he was enjoying, he did not know the grassroots. Well, he has a right to taunt him, but then when he was enjoying, he did not know the grassroots. We should also look at the angle that it's politics an avenue to enrich yourself. Or
yes,
politics,
absolutely. In this part of the world,
yes.
Absolutely.
So that is an admission, and it shouldn't be so. Politics should be an avenue for you to serve your country. It's an avenue for service. It's not a business. It's not employment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, other places in the world, politicians pick the bus with regular people.
Exactly.
Case in point, I think the UK, they'll join the bus, they'll go.
Exactly.
We have to ride in a V8 before you know that you're a politician.
Exactly. And the youth are watching. The youth are watching.
Yeah, let me go around and then we do one more and then it comes to you. Prof.
Who's the Pullman? I don't know the Pullman.
He was a former presiding member for KMA.
Oh, okay. It's a lesson to everyone that now if you help someone, take receipt. Yeah. If you help someone now, take receipt. So when the day comes, you can produce the receipt to that person.
Take receipt.
Yes. I mean, it's a good story. I don't think MPP is destroyed. It's a characteristic of parties in opposition. They'll struggle. Whoever thought the NDC will organize themselves and come back and win power. So for me, it's a normal practice. They will be hitting each other until finally they find the way and then they do things right. So it's a pure characteristic of parties. But we hope and wish them well that they should be able to organize things so that it doesn't degenerate to different conversations altogether. There's a good story here to be told. Africa must own its gas future. Good story.
Shall we get into it?
Yeah.
Just a little
bit of that's MP boss.
But while you get to the story, Prof,
while
it's normal for a party that's just gone into opposition to look disheveled at the grassroots and all that, there are certain elements at play here in the New Patriotic Party that makes me worry. For example, how catastrophic that thank you tour went. Something as simple as a thank you tour. They couldn't come together as one and complete it, in a unified form. And then you hear already people are trying to ascertain check up whether their candidature will be good for the next 8 years or 4 years. Nobody knows when.
For me, it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
But power at play at this moment. Everyone wants to be known and be heard. Thank you, tour shouldn't have gone that way. For me, I wasn't in favor when it happened that way. But it's a normal characteristic of MPDC have gone through the same thing. So it's normal. It's normal, but they shouldn't go into this.
All right, let's get that story then.
Africa must own its own gas.
So to summarize, I mean, this is a revolutionary statement. My own learned friend, Mr. Godwin Tamakro, Esquire, he said it was time, and I quote, it was time for Africa to stop waiting for external solutions and instead lead the charge in monetizing its own gas potential. About 600 million Africans lack access to electricity. This is not just an energy issue. It is a strategic opportunity to harness Africa's natural gas resources, all for power generation. This is a wonderful statement.
The gentleman is doing well.
Yes,
very well.
Very well.
We must support such stories. And I mean, this issue. One, look at the gold bond. Their core functions to stop smuggling. And then they also must ensure fair pricing. And then they also must add value. Look at the number of gold in April exported. But where I have an issue is a third part. They must also add value. That is by establishing refinery in a country just to add value. It's good to export more to get more revenue. But when we add value, we get more. So we need to hear such stories. And the gentleman is doing so well.
It looks like AG is full of praise this morning.
Just to add to that, you see the gold board like this, it is a step-by-step situation. First was to take control of the market, you understand, by, being the sole person to be able to buy and to stop the smugglers. And now once you've been able to take control, then you are able to raise revenue, to invest in the infrastructure, and also to be able to build these refineries. Because you do not also want a situation whereby these refineries will just be built and then it will go back to. And Eduji, excellent gentleman. Since he's been there, I think that he's been able to manage the place so very well that the noise that was around NPA some time back is all come down. Now his focus, I've been following his trend, his focus is for us to be able to build the petroleum industry, all right, and own it as a people. His first, I think, travel was when he went to Nigeria or something to visit the Dangote. And I think it kind of motivated his thinking into strategic planning of the NPA as an institution.
Okay.
I think he needs thumbs up. And Dr. Nick Danso, as he's popularly called, Nick, congratulations to him. I think he's one fine gentleman who has created a lot of jobs for people. And I love the aspect of his ability to be able to put Ghana on that international map. Almost all his businesses have international links. Yeah. And he's able to create that jobs. And on the NPP, just the last one.
We have 4 minutes. I want to get into your papers.
30 seconds. Boakye Jakun, Honorable, made a statement. And he says, he's titled, Teachings from Our Past, Things We Must Avoid, Boakye Jakun. And one of the paragraphs, I think the third or so paragraph, he says that a deep decay has set in at the core of our party, and we are in total denial regarding its causes and consequences. Prof, until a party has accepted that this is the situation we find ourselves in, and work towards dealing with the causes, it would always be as it is. The parties that were able to accept that they were in the ditch and then agreed to deal with the causes, came together to find solutions, were able to come out of it. But when you continue to deny yourself, that's also a
is that a sense you get that they're in denial? They don't know yet how deep the rot is, division maybe.
If they actually knew how deep the rot is, they would have been able to put in measures to have a very successful thank you talk.
Okay, that's all that time will allow.
No, hold on.
Nanaya, we have to go. Unless you don't want to touch your paper at all.
If you have been there before, they came out and won the election.
Well,
we should.
They were able to accept and agree.
I'd be happy because you need a credible opposition.
Of course, Ghanaians will provide that credible opposition and criticisms. I think the CPP is also putting itself together. Yeah.
So
the movement for change as a political organization is also building up.
All right,
until then, they will continue to be there.
All right, so I have to do this. Nana, just give me the headlines and then we have to go.
Tighten food labeling laws to protect public health.
Good call.
Professor Amuna. And it's a very good call. I think that the FDA has a lot of work to do when it comes to labeling of products in this country. I don't know if it is one of their core mandates, but if you look at most of the locally produced food that we have, there are some that they do not have labels at all, and it becomes something else.
I think it goes beyond labeling. It's about telling exactly what nutrients or what.
That's what the labelings should contain. But some people what they do is just the name. They put the name of the company and they put their telephone number and location and they leave it there.
Yeah. And some people just even...
That's labeling.
That's labeling. Put wrong things, spelled wrongly. Once I see that there's something spelled wrongly on that item, I run as fast as I can because I'm not about to ingest anything.
Typo on your labels.
Yeah, we have to go. We have to go. No, we can't do more. We have to go. So I have the news center. The same stories. Minority MPs stage sit-down protest.
Professor Nana has spoken.
Professor Nana has spoken
yes,
to removing
government
barriers.
committed to removing barriers to girls' education. And you have always been an advocate of that.
Way to go,
So I was
yes.
thinking you would do this story.
Unfortunately, we have to go. And season 7 of MTN Heroes of Change. Oh, I see Dr. Angela Jamina. She's my next guest on Women Power Politics. Please look out for that. Who wins season 7 of MTN Heroes of Change? There's a story about timekeeping series dialogue. Women share secrets to work-life harmony. Is there really ever harmony between work and life? I mean, okay, we have to go, gentlemen. I'll give you 10 seconds each if you have final words before my director starts counting me down. Prof, let me start with you.
Well, I don't have a
Don't
final
go to
word.
NPP.
Oh, no. For me, they need a credible opposition to help them. Ghanaians, we are space watching.
CPP
CPP will do that.
And Movement for Change.
Movement for Change can do this.
You are all opposition, I mean. Movement for Change and CPP,
yes,
you're all in opposition.
so we'll give them.
All right.
It's not as if it's the MPP that is the
Let's go.
opposition.
So,
okay.
want to make should be attended to. If indeed he's sick. If he's not.
Oh, but he's been attended to.
Yeah, I'm saying that
you
you
should
give him. And then he needs more support.
If you want
More
to be
support?
phoned, if you want to be
not
phoned
people
from
to go to
outside,
the streets, but in terms of, we should investigate whatever happened, but
All
then
right.
we should also be mindful that he's a Ghanaian. Yeah, that's the first
Yeah,
thing.
thank you.
I will just in 10 seconds call on my fellow politicians. We shouldn't forget our core mandate, that we are here to serve the people, not to enrich ourselves, and not to also show where power lies. Let's go back to the, the drawing board. Let's refocus. The current government is doing a lot of, they are making progress, but let's not get distracted. And all of us, politicians, whether opposition or the party, let's throw our weight behind the good policies and lift all Ghanaians to where they deserve to be.
Thank you. Nana Asakon, do this for me 10.
Yes. I mean, I would not want to do politics, but I would want to say that we should be careful what we do out there. At the end of the day, if you go out there to support anybody and you do not do it right, and you fall on the wrong side of the law, trust me, you'll be in the cooler alone.
Okay. So those who join us for today's news review, it's been a good Friday for me so far. Professor Isaac Boydi, Dean of Accounting and Finance at UPSA, and Kwame Nkrumah Botio, General Secretary of the CPP, and Nana El Sapong from the Movement for Change. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been a pleasurable morning. So stick and stay with us. Our big stories come right after. But you know that the AM show is sponsored by Waylead Properties, providing quality housing at affordable costs with flexible payment options. I'll be right back.
Welcome back on the AM show. We get into our first interview for the day, and it's all about the G-Step Challenge, the Ghana Science and Tech Explorer Prize Challenge, a unique opportunity for young people to learn more about innovation, entrepreneurship, and of course, STEM, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Well, joining the conversation with us this morning, we have Elizabeth Owusu-Boadi. She's a G-Step 2025 judge. We also have some of our young ones here, Carlin Esinam Amedeka and Sairam Day. All right, so Carlin and Sairam, good morning.
Good morning.
You have beautiful smiles.
Thank you.
And you look great in yellow.
Thank you.
Okay, so let me start with the judge and find out. I know you are participants and you're raring to go. Let me find out from the judge. Please give us a bit of an introduction. What criteria did you meet to make you a judge?
This will be my second time running with G-Step, and we're looking at entrepreneurship. We're looking at how they'll be able to pitch their idea, how to be able to empower them. And so I believe the team looked at, for judges, you should be in different categories of the business sector. And so for me, I have a background with business strategy and customer experience. So I believe that is why I was selected to be part of it, to be able to help them strategize and then be able to make impact in the community that they'll be serving.
All right, so you could fit many boxes, and for that reason, you've been brought a second time.
Yeah.
But tell us, there may be some who are unfamiliar with the G-Step Challenge. What exactly is it? What is it all about?
So you would agree with me that growing up, our time, for me, I didn't like science. I didn't like numbers. I don't like maths. I'll prefer to read. If you twist the question in any way, I wouldn't like it. And we want to make science and the technology and maths, the STEM subjects, very practical for our children. We want to make it as practical experience as possible so that they'll be able to understand and be able to grow with it. The Bible says that teach the children how to go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. And so we believe that if you are able to invest in them right now with these STEM activities, they'll be able to have the hands-on practical experiences of learning science and maths and technology in a very practical way that they'll be able to also impact their communities that they are in. So it's about learning and then impacting.
Okay. And before I come to Carlin and Esinam, you'll be judging the regional events, right?
Yes.
What key things are you going to be looking out for, you together with the rest of the judges?
Yeah, so together we are looking at how enterprising their idea is, how impacting it will be, how innovative it is, because we've had several ideas, several pitches, but how different is yours? How innovative is yours using technology, using science? And we're looking at their teamwork, we're looking at their business idea, we're looking at how clear they are able to communicate. Remember, we are nurturing them into the business world. We are nurturing them to be able to take up enterprising roles. And so all these criteria will be used to judge them.
All right, Carlin, let me come to you. How old are you?
I'm 14.
14?
Yes, please.
Okay, which school do you attend?
Services Primary and GHS in Bemakam, under the Ladide Kotopo municipality.
Oh, wow, you have all the details, don't you? And what got you interested in the G-Step Challenge?
Okay, so before I was involved in a club called the Technocrafts. And in that club, we were just exploring, we had just started though, we were just exploring the various components in Arduino. And then we heard that there was a plan that we could join the G-Step Challenge. And we were like, why not? So with the little information we had, we just came up together and then we decided to join the G-Step Challenge.
Okay. And since you joined and all the activities and getting to this point, what has the experience been like?
It's been exhilarating. G-Step has been so wonderful. It has been the best platform for us to develop our public speaking skills, our socializing skills, pitching skills, of course, ability to tolerate people, especially my teammates, working with people and cooperating with people.
I see. Let me come to you, Esinam, and the same batch of questions. How old are you?
I'm 13.
13, so just a year's difference.
Yeah.
Are you in the same school?
Yes, please.
Okay. And was it the same, sort of experience for you? You heard about it and felt, why not?
Yes, we, as she said, we're in a club called the Technocrafts. So we heard of this G-Step Challenge and decided to come up with an idea called Inoware due to one of our team members who got accidentally kidnapped.
Oh,
so we decided to do something about it. And yes, so that's why we joined the G-Step Challenge to solve such a problem.
But your friend, was the friend found?
Yes, he was found.
Okay, we thank God for that. How supportive have your parents, been?
They've been very supportive. Talking financially and emotionally, they've been very supportive, giving us money whenever we need it, emotional support, and whatever we need. Yes.
And for you, Carlin, family and friends, how much support have they given
They have
you?
been so supportive, especially financially and even bringing us for meetings, because we have to meet sometimes on weekends and it can be so stressful. They will wait for us, let us finish, go over the notes we had over the day with us. I've been so supportive. I'm just so thankful.
I can tell from your smiles that you're happy about this.
Yeah.
But coming back to you, on the bit about, I've heard the bit about the cost factor and everything there. It's a sacrifice that must be made for these children to get to a certain pedestal. The G-Step is not the only STEM competition around. What makes this one unique?
Okay, so G-Step is unique because we are starting from the bottom. We are starting from the base. If you realize, most of the pitching events, most of the STEM events are for higher education. But we are starting from GHS. You have some people, some students coming as young as 11, as 12, yes. And their ideas are brilliant. Their ideas are incredible. It's like, because they are working within a community, finding these communities. So like she mentioned, someone got mistakenly abducted, and then they have to find a way. These are some of the things they are doing. Is about bringing impact within the community that they are. And so it makes it, as you are nurturing them, you are building some form of intrinsic values in them. You are bringing, they believe they are the change makers of tomorrow. And it means that tomorrow we'll have a better Ghana, we'll have better communities, we'll have a better world. Because then their minds are already on problem solving.
And so it's crucial that we start them off at this stage. I mean, an 11-year-old starting like this, you can only imagine by the time the person is at the SHS level, where their interests would lie and how specific they would be, whether it's in engineering, whether it's in statistics, mathematics, or whatever. But I have a quick question for you. Even as we talk about STEM all the time, you know, there's also STEAM, where you put the arts in there. Because sometimes the complaint too is that, yeah, they are so scientific, but they lack certain other basics in the arts, a certain level of thinking that would impact them if they had. What is your thinking on that?
And that is how also G-STEP is different, because we give them business coaches and we give them technical coaches. And so it builds the soft skill that they really need, and that is the arts bit. So that they are able to work together, they are able to collaborate to do all the projects that they are going to do.
All right, Isinam, what's your team's name and what would you say you've learned so far? Just briefly.
Okay, so my team's name is the Technocrafts Innowear.
Okay.
So far, we've learned so much, team collaboration, learning how to tolerate each other, and we've also built our coding and programming skills. We've also learned about the Arduino kit. At first, we had no knowledge about entrepreneurship and, technical stuff, but now we've learned so much, and we are grateful to G-STEP for bringing us so much knowledge.
I wish at your age I knew some of what you know now. Colin.
Okay, so the name of my team is the Technocrafts Innowear.
Right.
And what I've learned from this G-STEP challenge is my ability to pitch. My public speaking skills have improved massively because at first I was a very timid person. I cannot even look you in the eye at first. So G-STEP
but look at you now.
Yeah. So G-STEP has helped me so much, and I'm just so grateful.
So for the students who are likely watching us right now, people of your age, your contemporaries, what would be your message to them? That will be the final bit from you. I'll start with you, Carlin.
Okay. So my message for you guys is that whatever you want to do it today. Don't wait. Don't say, I'm going to do this later on. If you are thinking of joining G-STEP, I'm telling you to go for it. It's been so much fun. It's combining fun with education, and it's the best thing that could ever happen. Step out of your comfort zone and join G-STEP. You won't regret it.
A thought just came to mind. When you combine fun and education, what do you get? Funducation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so all those who want to join G-STEP, I'm saying that go for it, try it, put your thoughts together, whatever you want to do, any problem in your community, go for it, try to solve it, because you all have the thinking abilities and the skills. So go for it and you won't regret it.
All right. Girls, let me just say this. I am super proud of you.
Thank
and keep
you.
rising. Who knows what God will make of you? Of course, you have to work hard. You have the final word, very final word, and then we go.
I would love to say that thank you to the G-STEP Consortium, and I will encourage parents to ensure that they encourage their children to take up these STEM activities. For public, government and private institutions, we'll plead with you to take an interest in these pitches, in these ideas, in these prototypes that our children are coming up with, so that we'll be able to solve issues, challenges in our community, one step at a time. Thank you.
One step at a time, and that's G-STEP. They are stepping to STEM. Those who joined us for the conversation, Elizabeth Owusu-Bwedi, she is a G-STEP 2025 judge. We also had my friends here, Carlin, Esinam Amedeka, and Seiram. Oh, I kept referring to you as Esinam. Seiram Day. Thank you so much for coming. Right before we take a breather, are you looking for a home in a prime location? Well, Nestor's Homes has got you covered. Our properties in Tema Community 26, just behind Palace Mall, offer a serene atmosphere, easy access to transportation routes, and social amenities as well. Now, there are off-plan prices starting at $35,000. You can reach out today on 0531 014 440 or 0531 014 447. You can also visit the website www.nestas.com.gh. Mind you, Nestas is spelled Nestas. And you know what it is. Things have changed, so you can easily make a purchase. Stick and stay with us. We'll be back after the break with a lot more. Welcome back on the AM show. It's proudly sponsored by Whaley Properties. We provide quality housing at an affordable cost and with a flexible payment option. Right now, I'm going to be telling you about the Black curriculum. Yes, we're coming home. Where it started, why the team is in Ghana. And I am pleased to announce that we have right here in the studio, Lavinia Stennett, founder and CEO of the Black curriculum. Good morning.
Morning.
Wagwan. we were doing something right before we came on air. She mentioned that she was from Jamaica. And of course, we had to chant down Babylon in Kingston.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. Good to have you in the studio. Let's kickstart the conversation from the Black curriculum. The name itself is interesting. We have had the White Album. Jay-Z gave us the Black Album. Why the Black curriculum?
Yeah, so the Black curriculum actually came from a white person. So I had told this person that I wanted to empower young Black people with their history. And I think psychologically there is this fear of Blackness in the UK. So there was some trepidation. Like, she didn't really want to embrace the fullness of what we was doing. And she was like, also, what's going on with the Black curriculum? And I was like, oh, that's a great name. And I really wanted to embrace our heritage unapologetically. And that's why I decided to call the Black curriculum the Black curriculum. And obviously, a lot of people in the UK define themselves as Black when they're of African heritage. So that's really why I wanted to make sure that people are proud. There's a proud sense of who we are in the name.
Okay, so you started from the UK.
Yes.
Should I say Britain?
Britain, yes.
To be specific.
Absolutely.
But you've expanded it to other areas. But yes. Even before we talk about the expansion, let's look at, so what exactly is the Black curriculum in its impact, what you hope it is going to achieve? Because I know that in the United States, for example, there have been problems with, syllabi reflecting Black history and all of that.
Yes.
What is the end game of the Black curriculum?
So that's a great question. So at the end goal, we really want to see young people being able to fully embrace their history, not only in their careers, but then also when it comes to just the teaching of it, it's just something that is embraced and it's not seen as something that should be relegated to Black History Month, which in the UK is in October, which is the month that we often see teachers and young people accept this history. So we're saying once you're actually fully empowered, you don't just see yourself as something that is lesser than white people. You don't see yourself as inferior, but also you have a pride, you have an understanding of your history, and you also have an embracing of the continent. I think there's a lot of people that have been miseducated, and I think that has played a role in how Africa is perceived, and also the Caribbean. And we're trying to make sure that young people not only appreciate their home, but also see it as a place of investment over and above just enjoyment. This is a place of education based on the history that we know has existed, and the power and the resources that we have on this continent as well.
Reminds me of two things. The album, that fantastic album of Lauryn Hill, The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
I love that album.
But it also reminds me of that saying that you cannot make any real progress if you don't understand who you are and where you came from. And so, very important bits. My curiosity, though, your curriculum, the Black curriculum, does it also include thoughts about Black inventors? People don't know that so many inventions were actually sourced from black people, and including mathematics and some theories and all that. Does it feed into your curriculum?
Absolutely, yes. So we teach black inventors, but we also try to make sure that we're not just teaching about individuals, because I think we've had this concept in history that we just need to focus on one person, when history has actually been made by the collective and the community. And so even when we're thinking about things like the Industrial Revolution, and we have products that were sourced not only from the continent, the labor that went into building these things that we see as great inventions were actually built by black people, not only from the Caribbean that were taken from Africa, but also now those of us who have migrated. So I think even now there's a huge history to look back to, but there's also a present that needs to be connected to the past that I think our education system doesn't prioritize. And so, yeah, we're making sure that black inventors, but also the resources are part of that conversation, and therefore British colonialism as well, because that isn't something that is spoken about at all. It's swept under the carpet.
I mean, I've had the privilege of living in Cuba, in Brazil, and I know quite a bit about the Caribbean lifestyle. There's also some stereotypes sometimes, because in a lot of these places you have black people. If you go to Brazil, the Bahia region is full of black people.
Absolutely.
Unlike the other parts of the country, east, north, where I lived, Aquiraz, among other places where it's different. But what then is the approach? The countries you've been in, the countries you've had, some footprint in. What has been the approach?
The approach has been to embed a change in how the curriculum is taught and how it's engaged with. So we often see that because the British colonized a lot of countries, they follow a British curriculum, and that British curriculum does not speak about British colonialism. And we know the foothold that colonialism has in these countries is not only attached to industries, it's not only attached to mindsets. So therefore, we have to engage educators and those who are teaching the youth to make sure that they are actually empowering them with the truth and not just kind of giving them things to pass an exam, because it's more than that. We're teaching young people about life and giving them practical skills. So I think our impact in those countries, not only with Wales, who we worked with, to support the mandate, like making Black history mandatory in the curriculum, but also just making sure we're working with partners in the US, here in Ghana, to actually challenge the origins of the curriculum itself.
Okay, so now let's get into the countries themselves. You're in Britain?
Yes.
Wales?
Wales.
Canada, you said?
Canada we've worked with online, yes. So during the resurgence of Black Lives Matter, we had so much inquiries, and so we did some work with international schools. We're actually doing some work in Thailand this summer as well. So. Okay,
Thailand as well, a footprint in Asia. Any other country?
Well, here in Ghana as well, we've done some work last week, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I'll ask you 2 questions. Why Ghana?
Yes.
Well, I'm sure this is how you're kickstarting in Africa, right?
Yes, it is.
So why Ghana? We say it's the gateway to Africa. Why
really
Ghana?
is.
And tell us a bit about that event you were talking about over the weekend. You partnered with Reform Initiatives and LOTED.
Yes.
That's the Library of Africans and the African Diaspora, to screen a short film entitled Omitted.
Absolutely.
So why Ghana? And then tell us about the weekend.
Okay, so why Ghana? So a lot of people see Ghana as like the place to come based on the year of return, but the Black
let me tell you, it is.
It is.
It is the place to come.
It is. But over and above that, there is also a history that I think is disconnected from what we see as the year of return. Ghana was one of the first countries to gain independence in the sub-Saharan
the first in sub-Saharan
Africa. The first,
Africa,
absolutely, in 1957. And I think that national history, the history of independence, the Pan-Africanist movements, not only from people like Kwame Nkrumah and some of W.E. Du Bois, who studied and applied some of the knowledge that was gained through the Pan-Africanist movement, that is the current that the Black curriculum embodies. And I think the partnerships that we've had with LOTAD based in Adenta, MacMid from Reform Initiatives, it continues the conversation in ways that are still connected to that independence history and that struggle against neocolonialism, which is happening now. So I would say that's why Ghana, and obviously there is a cultural capital that I think makes Ghana so unique. Not only from entertainment, but also we're thinking about other industries that are growing, and we're thinking about young people as the future of Africa. In Ghana, I think there is just so much richness here, and it's a privilege for me to come back. So Why Omitted? So Omitted basically is a film about reparations. We know that the African Union has declared that this is the year of reparations. And what we are doing is making sure that that conversation is accessible for people on the ground. So it's not just something that the African Union speaks about and countries and governments kind of prioritize, but what are the people saying? How does this connect to curriculum? And if we're thinking about reparations, what kind of education needs to happen before we kind of move into the practicalities of how much we're owed and what does the new structures look like? Education is always at the center of that. So that's what the film is really about, looking at curriculum change. And we had so many wonderful guests give their opinions and share their experience based on the Ghana curriculum, like what could be changed and what's needed for Ghana to move forward.
All right. So what's the plan for the rest of your stay in Ghana? Is this your first time in Ghana?
This is my second. I came in December
for
work again.
Okay.
So yeah, I leave very soon.
All right. So what's your favorite thing in Ghana? It could be food, it could be watching.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not surprised because in Jamaica, you also have something, I've forgotten what you call it.
Rice and peas?
Rice and beans.
Yeah.
In Cuba, they call it arroz con gris.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arroz con gris. And in Brazil, they also have a different setting for it. So final words, what can we expect from you in this final phase? How long are you in town for? What else are you going to be doing about the Black curriculum? And it's a wrap.
Yeah, so in partnership with Reform, we're going to be doing more education, particularly around the film Omitted. We're also going to be doing a part 2 to make sure that the views of Ghanaians can actually be represented not only from the creative industry, but to also young people to think about what it is that they want to talk about in terms of reparatory history and justice and, yeah, better connections between each other. So expect another film. I think that's the first thing. And then secondly, we want to make sure that we are working with the trainers of the teachers so that they are actually empowered with an ability to challenge colonialism and remove that sense of passivity, and also ensure that Ghanaian history is not something that is relegated and seen lesser than doing subjects like law and maths, because our history is the vehicle for change. So, yeah.
It's been a great interview, you know.
Thank you so much, Wachana.
I caught you off guard there. And that has been Lavinia Stennett. She is founder and CEO of the Black Curriculum. Let me just, before we go, I just had to do this. Do you need any sponsorship? Are there people you would like to reach out to help? That would be the final thing. Let's do that quickly.
Absolutely. We definitely need sponsorship. We need schools that are willing to open their doors for us to come in. And we need companies that would like to support young people in terms of creative careers that are it's attached to knowing their history so that we can really empower the youth of tomorrow and Africa's future.
All right, Lavinia, thank you very much. Ghana, let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's actually silly simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, it's not the correct tank. That's right, the tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong, it is durable, it is built to handle our Ghanaian weather. So rain or shine, Syntex tank has your back. So I'm going to encourage you right now, step outside. Go on, move along. Check if your tank doesn't have a tortoise on it. And if it doesn't, then you know it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Just call this number, 0244 335 168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents nationwide. You don't want to miss a beat. Just look out for the tortoise tank. You can also purchase online at syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough. We take a breather. We'll be back with more.
And you're back on the AM show. Remember, today is the 30th day of May 2025. We are wrapping up on Mental Health Awareness Month. And here on the AM show, we want to talk about tackling heartbreak and high-functioning mental illnesses. In the studio with me this morning is Boachiwa Glover. She's an organizational psychologist, author, and the host of the Boachiwa Glover Show on YouTube. Boachiwa, welcome to the AM show.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here with you.
You look dashing.
Oh, Oh, look at you.
So tell me, who is an organizational psychologist?
Yes. Okay. So it's actually industrial and organizational psychology. So it's a field that studies people at work, the psychology of people at work, but it also treats organization almost like it's a person. So we're studying the people, but also studying the organization, how it behaves. So topics like engagement, motivation, emotions, all of those things fit under organizational psychology, but related to people at work.
Okay, which makes it perfect that we're having this conversation with you today.
Exactly.
I want to start from some clarification in the words that we threw around when it comes to mental health. So first, mental health, mental illness, mental disorder, and mental wellness. Break it down for me.
So let me start with mental wellness and mental health. That really just talks about your general well-being. How are you doing in terms of how you cope with situations, how you cope with stress? It's your health, like physical health. And then mental illness or mental disorder then talks about when that coping is not working. So again, like physical health, if you're fine, you're fine. But when you're not fine, then you have an illness or disorder. It's the same term when it comes to mental health or mental illness. Mental health just says your well-being. Mental illness means something is wrong and you've likely been diagnosed with a disorder or an illness. So when we advocate for mental wellness, it's more of preventative. We want to make sure people are eating right, sleeping well, and they're able to work and take care of themselves. Illness means something has happened and now you need to be treated or taken care of in a different way.
So when someone says he or she has a mental health issue, where does that fall?
It can fall in between. It may mean that they've recognized that something is not working. They are struggling with something. Maybe they haven't yet gotten a diagnosis. So they are not completely well. Neither are they at the point of illness. Because illness is not something we should throw around unless you have seen a professional who has diagnosed you to say that this is what you're going through.
Okay.
So if they say they're going through a mental health challenge, they feel off, but perhaps they have not received a diagnosis yet.
And you need a medical professional to diagnose you before
Yes.
you can say that you have an illness relating to the mental health.
And I think that's part of the issue in our culture is there's so much stigma where we throw around and call people, and I hate this word, I want to say that now, call people mad. It's something we need to move away from. We don't have a grounding or a basis, and what does that really mean? So a diagnosis or an illness or disorder has to come from a professional. Not your friends, not yourself, not your colleagues.
Okay. Now, this conversation is important because we all know that it's just 1 month in the whole year that we trumpet mental health issues. But the fact is, many high-functioning individuals are facing mental health issues, like you just explained to us, and they either don't know where to get help, they're afraid to speak up because of the stigma associated, or they just want to keep it all together. We want to be seen as well put together. And there's some data here I want to run quickly before I come back to you. It says the World Health Organization reports that 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health disorder in their lifetime. 2 studies show that over 60% of professionals with depression never seek help, often due to concerns about reputation, job loss, etc. And then research from the Lancet Psychiatry indicates that high-functioning individuals are frequently undiagnosed until major breakdowns occur. And I want to pause there for a bit. First of all, who is a high-functioning individual? And then we can take it out from what the commonalities in all organizations or companies and how we deal with it.
So this is where my advocacy really sits, is high-functioning. I think in Ghana or most African societies, what we regard as mental illness or disorder is psychosis. Those we see on the streets who are perhaps unkempt, or those who are going through something, some crisis. They are hearing things, they are seeing things, they cannot communicate with you well, they are being aggressive. That has become our notion of mental illness, but that is wrong. That's actually a very small segment. The 1 in 4 WHO is talking about, even in some research, says 1 in 2. And what they're talking about is not just psychosis. What they're talking about is really the high-functioning mental illness. This is where high-functioning means outwardly you are successful, you are succeeding, you are delivering, you're getting good grades if you're in school. At work, there's nothing wrong with you, you're performing well, you're a parent, you are, to use a term you and I talked about, you're a boss lady. Yes. But you are struggling under the surface. Whether you're a man or a female or a student, whatever it may be, there is something under the surface. But high functioning means you are able to function. You're able to live your life, but underneath the surface, you are struggling. And it's a very serious thing because, like you said, either due to stigma or shame, you are unable to come out and seek help. So a lot of high-functioning people struggle until the point of breakdown. My father had schizophrenia. He was a lawyer. And law and medicine are two of the highest professions with a lot of undiagnosed mental illnesses. James Amwaku Glover, he was brilliant. He won landmark cases. And much later in his life, he was crippled by schizophrenia. And he was actually on the streets of Ghana.
What are some of the common issues related to mental health that high-functioning individuals encounter? You just mentioned schizophrenia. I never said that word right on the first try. That, I know there's depression. I know there's burnout, there's stress. What are the common ones we know?
So
and
anxiety.
Give us a little brief. Anxiety.
Anxiety is one of the biggest things.
That's one I'm familiar with.
Yes. Generalized anxiety disorder. Anxiety is one of the biggest things that high-functioning professionals face. Anxiety with going to court. Anxiety with dealing with people at work. Anxiety in so many shapes. Maybe you're not where you want to be. And we think of that as trivial. If maybe you want to be CEO and you are at the bottom and you are feeling nervous about it, we think it's trivial, but it can lead to disorders. So anxiety, depression, burnout, fatigue, exhaustion, but also personality disorders. I have what is referred to as persistent depressive disorder, chronic depression. But I'm sitting here, I go to work, I do what I do. And I only got my diagnosis because I felt something was wrong. I felt overwhelmed. I was not dealing with things well. So I went to see a therapist. And most professionals wouldn't. I can say it's on TV because I've declared it to my boss. But these are some of the, whether it's OCD, so obsessive compulsion disorder.
That's a disorder?
It is. OCD, but it's not the general, I like cleaning, so I have OCD. We tend to throw words and terms about, but it's not necessarily meaning it's a diagnosis or an illness. OCD is crippling or debilitating. You really can't do much. So these, I think any disorder a high-functioning person can experience, except for the ones that are maybe psychosis. That means they've gone past high-functioning and now they have a real issue to deal with.
What I'm hearing from you is that it's possible to be a high-functioning individual on the outside of it and still be crumbling or crippling down there underneath all of it. So it is possible for both situations to exist in one human being, and the signs will just fly under the radar. So what are the warning signs that you should take note of, either at work, at home, and realize that you probably need help, or you should just check in with yourself? What are the signs?
So I will share my signs and then maybe talk about other general signs. So my signs, the reason I went to see a therapist, one is family history. So it's like if your parent has diabetes or someone in your family has cancer, then you know you are what you'd call a risk person, a high risk. So because my father had schizophrenia, that was one factor. And then I started crying a lot. And I'm not necessarily a crier. Then all of a sudden, everything just felt emotionally heavy. You know, I was crying. I wasn't sleeping well. There's a term dysregulated. How I was handling my emotions wasn't going well. I just changed jobs and was high profile, a lot of like pressure in the new role. And I said, this is not normal. This is not me. Because I've been high functioning for so long. And then there was a crack in my exterior. For once, I really wasn't handling things well. So that was my sign. With other people, they can either be burned out, even if they rest for 2-3 days, they're still fatigued. The exhaustion is something they can't just seem to easily snap out of, or they overwork. Instead of dialing back, they go the extreme, or they isolate and they start to avoid people, or they become easily irritable. Anything you say or do sort of gets to them. But the point is, the way they were starts to change. It may be subtle. It's hardly ever overnight. By the time you see real behavior changes, they've gone through a whole long thing before they get to the point where maybe they're being aggressive or violent. But the signs are that subtle. Something just feels off. And it's important for individuals to know the way they are, but also for their colleagues to realize that my friend, my colleague, my family, something has changed.
What I know about awareness, how we control our awareness. You know, often we say the mind, but it's not. The mind is just something, it's inanimate. It's the awareness that moves from one space to the other. What I know about that is it is possible for you to be aware, conscious, and making active decisions, but you are not making the best decisions for yourself because you are not mentally okay. And these warning signs that you've just given us, it could easily be a personality change. For example, I could decide that I'm just tired of dealing with people at work, so I'm going to take away myself from them. You know, like usually I'll come, not personally, I'm saying for someone who's very histrionic all over the place. Yeah. And then they decide that nobody gets to have me like that anymore. How does that person know that they're actually making a conscious decision for themselves in terms of how to do life at work? And it's probably a sign that I need help. Where's the intersection?
The line. How do you recognize whether I'm behaving as anybody typically would, I just want to take a break, versus maybe it's past trauma or something deeper that is happening? The way you can know, honestly, is just to go and see a professional. If you make drastic changes in the way you typically are, it is coming from somewhere. Trauma informs our decisions, even who you marry, who you date, what food you eat. So once you decide that I'm tired of something and I want to change, there is an underlying reason why. And it's often best, and let me say something about therapy. You don't only go to therapy when you have an illness or when you are crippled or you can't brush your teeth or you can't bath. You can go to therapy because you just want someone to talk to. And it's a safe space by doctor-patient confidentiality. So I would say that the minute you feel tired and believe you need to make changes in how you interact with people or work, it might mean there is something. And there's no harm in going to see a professional who can then confirm for you that you're simply going through normal life, maybe midlife changes, and you need a different career or different friend group, and it is okay. That's fine. But let a therapist help you through that process of figuring out, is this okay, or is there something bigger happening with me?
One of the reasons why people might want to change their personality at work or wherever is losing someone you were in love with. Heartbreak. And let me go back to the statistics here. According to WHO, over 700,000 people die by suicide every year globally. And many of these deaths are linked to relationship breakdowns, loneliness, and unprocessed emotional pain. Recently, we saw that tragedy at my alma mater, University of Education, Winneba, where a young student took his own life after discovering his girlfriend was unfaithful. How terrible is that situation, and why do we not trumpet it enough? Heartbreak. Why is there so much stigma about sharing that you're heartbroken?
So this is my second favorite topic after high-functioning mental illness.
Yeah.
A lot of people trivialize heartbreak because it's an emotion. We don't give a lot of credibility to emotions. But heartbreak is debilitating. It can be a trauma. It can be devastating. There's research that shows that emotional rejection triggers the same regions in the brain as physical rejection or as physical pain. So if you slap me and a guy breaks up with me, my brain is going to register both incidents almost as the same. And so heartbreak is nothing small. There's even a condition where you have cardiomyopathy. So your heart becomes damaged just from that loss. And it can
physically damaged?
Physically damaged. It's called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. It's called the heartbreak.
But yeah, go on.
I had to read it. It's called the heartbreak syndrome, and it has been known to be fatal. So our hearts sort of like work in a certain way where your brain, everything you're feeling passes through there. So when you have chest tightness or panic attacks, you're not being dramatic. If someone rejects you, abandons you, or breaks up with you, it is truly deeply physiological. It's not just psychological. It impacts your physiology because it produces something called cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So if someone leaves you immediately, your cortisol becomes elevated. And when it remains elevated for a long time, it can lead to inflammation.
I'm sure there are exceptions to this rule.
Yes.
And I'm going to put my own self in the conversation at this point. I think I have high reactions or loud reactions to small things and very small reactions to big things. So whether it's a friendship breakup or, separating from a loved one, I'm unable to process it as heartbreak. I just, that happened and I move on. But then months down the line, you think back and you think, what was that about? Is that normal?
Yes, let me explain yours. Yours is the opposite of mine. Yours is what they would call more of the avoidance tendency. So you're the type that you suppress. When something happens to you, you suppress it. It will take a long time for those emotions to filter up. Eventually, it doesn't matter if it takes years, it will come to the surface and you will start to reflect. Mine is where instantly I feel the emotions. And then I go through months of processing. I allow myself to feel it. I don't suppress, which becomes more painful. And by the time you start to reflect, I am getting over it. That's the difference. So mine is more, I will deal with it. I will go through it. And then heartbreak.
You sit with it. My therapist used that phrase.
Yes, you must allow the emotions. You must allow yourself to feel the emotions, to cry, to feel pain. It's very difficult because most people will either want to use drugs or sex or alcohol to numb. But I don't do drugs or drink. So I allow myself to feel it. I was hospitalized because of my heartbreak last year. I was highly inflamed. My ESR, which is an inflammation marker, and for women, it should be less than 20. Mine was nearly 200. I was in the ER for 5 days. I got a breakup text on a Thursday. By Tuesday, I was hospitalized, and I was out of commission for 2 weeks.
Girl, you know his loss.
That's the thing people will say, but you still feel the pain. It's a real thing. That's what made me start looking into this subject, because I didn't have an infection. There was nothing. It was purely my heart, and my body was shutting down because of the devastation of that loss. Yes.
What do you do when you are encountering heartbreak? Give us some soft landing spots, so that we know what to do, just how to manage ourselves. I mean, of course, you have to see a therapist if you think you're firing out of your radar, but
yes, soft landing spots I will sort of say is that recognize that your feelings are valid. What I went through, I was wondering, is this normal? What's happening? Why am I in so much pain? But recognize that your feelings are valid. Do not let people around you push you to other things or to move too fast or heal too fast. Your feelings are valid. I would say, this is my recommendation, allow yourself to feel, allow yourself to process, to grieve, because healing is not linear.
Sorry. So if you can't do that, then what happens? If you can't allow yourself to feel?
Then the other part is you can distract, but distract yourself in a healthy way. My YouTube show, The Boacha Glover Show, came out of the heartbreak. My therapist said, find something that you can latch onto. So it's a form of distraction when the feeling becomes a bit too much. So find healthy ways of distracting yourself. But so long as it is not unhealthy behaviors, do something that makes you feel better. And just allow yourself to feel or distract healthily, and recognize that it will take a while, and just go through the process.
Okay. The only thing I would say to that is sometimes the healthy indulgence is not what really helps. It's like the unhealthy ones. It's the unhealthy ones that really hit home.
And let me give some healthy ones, please. Sleep. Get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Work out. Be outdoors. I work out 6 days a week. Do those things that are healthy habits. Not like the Friday, Saturday night partying and drinking. You will feel that later. So the healthy habits.
Okay, let's get back to the workplace.
Yes.
Just like you gave us those soft landing spots for heartbreak, when you recognize that you're not functioning, for high functioning individuals, nothing will show in terms of your productivity. But when you realize that something underneath is not well, you mentioned that, of course, it's only a therapist, a medical professional who can diagnose you. But what do you do in terms of, if it's the work causing you stress, should you quit? If it is your boss causing, aggravating a small situation, should you have a tete-a-tete conversation with the person? What do you do when you realize that something is wrong?
Soft landers, this is what I'll say, and I want to give feedback both to organizations and individuals. Organizations need to create a culture where it's okay to rest. Create a culture where it's okay, where you're not sending emails on Saturday and Sunday. I was guilty of that until 3 months ago. So it has to be such that you allow people to rest and recover. As an individual, soft landing is, regardless of what is happening in your organization, carve your own R&R. Have a boundary. Have a certain space you protect. And then make sure that you do that. So even the tips I gave on heartbreak can help you in the workplace. Go to the gym, work out, eat well, sleep well. You can have a conversation with your boss if it's becoming a bit extreme, but start with yourself. See how you can create habits or an atmosphere at work that enables you to dial down a bit. If it's not working, seek a professional who will then help you with a conversation with your boss. I wouldn't jump to talking to a boss right away, because bosses may not react in a way that would be helpful, and it might exacerbate your feeling. So deal with yourself first, then a professional or any trusted person, and then you can go and talk to your boss. They would help you with the approach on how to tell your boss that I need a bit of me time. I need to dial back a bit. I'm feeling a bit stressed. Here's how you can help me, and here's what I will also do to make sure that my work does not, get impacted.
That's dealing with the situation, which sometimes translates into coping, before healing happens. I remember I made
Perfect
a post.
Language,
yes. I mean, I was just telling you before we came on air that I'm particularly interested in mental health conversations these days. So I made a post recently on Facebook about how I'm realizing now that healing is happening for me, something that's, causing healing. But all along, in all those months that the real, thing was going down, I thought I was okay, but I think that was just me coping.
Yes.
So I want you to help me understand or break down the difference between coping and healing.
So coping is like masking. It's something we all do. I do it very well. I tell my therapist I'm the queen of masking. So masking is a way where you get up, you brush your teeth, you do everything normal. You are coping. There is something not working, but you are not dealing with it or addressing it. Healing is confronting it. Healing is saying that I am sad. Healing is saying that I'm exhausted, I'm fatigued, and taking actual intentional steps to address it. Coping, you are not being deliberate. Healing, you are being deliberate. Healing is not accidental. You can't heal accidentally. Some people will say time heals all wounds. Time doesn't heal. It doesn't. If you don't take active steps, it will not heal. So healing is you being deliberate by doing things like journaling. I forgot to mention that in soft landing. My therapist says journaling means you're able to suppress your emotional brain because your emotional brain suppresses your logic. But when you journal, you are now bringing your logical brain to the front and you're able to reflect on what you've written, and that's part of healing. So healing is active, it's intentional, it's deliberate. Coping is just day-to-day going about your life and whatever you do without really dealing with the issue. That would be the difference. So if you're healing accidentally, not quite.
That's not healing.
No, no.
I mean, I think I healed because, like you said, I sought help.
That's
so
good
I
then.
don't,
So
I
that
don't
is
shame
intentional.
people who, I looked for, because I didn't understand why there was no emotion. I couldn't cry. I was so blah.
Oh, I love yours. I wish I had yours.
Anyway, so we should be winding down on the conversation now.
Sure.
But now you know how to do life because you know what your triggers are. You know how to cope with them. You know your history and all that. What would be your top 3 advice to people who've never dealt with mental health issues, either because they don't know that they even have something happening or something wrong with them, or they just buy into that black mentality, black man don't need no therapist, you know what I mean? What would be your top 3 pieces of advice to people like that, just so they don't mess around and find out one day that they ought to have sought help at some point?
F-O, yes. The one I would sort of say is education. So like you said, for the past month, you've learned so much about mental health. I would tell people to learn, to educate themselves, to read. I mean, right now we have AI, you have ChatGPT. So if you're feeling, and I use chat quite a bit during my heartbreak, just go online and learn about what am I feeling? I'm fatigued, this happened, I reacted this way. Learn and educate yourself. I will always go back to seeking a professional. So first one is learn and educate yourself. The second one is talk to a professional. And the third one would be create a healthy lifestyle. Because I think that really impacts our mental health. Our physical health is connected to our mental health. So think about your physical health. And it's not just go and lift 100 kgs, but move, be outdoors, get fresh air, sleep well, eat well. If you're social, interact with people. If you're not, meditate, journal, spirituality. These are all things that can help you with your mental health, even as you're seeing a professional or you're making tiny changes. That would be my top 3. We don't need to just watch TV anymore. We can educate ourselves, and people need to do that and recognize that mental illness is not a choice. No one picks up a menu and say, oh, let me see. Today, I think I'm going to pick OCD or schizophrenia. It is not a choice, so let's educate ourselves.
In the work that you do, I'm sure it takes a lot of resources. Do you need help?
I do. Thank you for asking. So I need help in 2 ways. I'm an author. I've just launched a book called The Anatomy of a Breakup. So the breakup I went through, I put it all together in a book that I've published, but not done the launch. What I'm actually looking for support for is in 2 ways. I want to do a creativity and mental health event. There's a lot of interaction between creatives and mental health, and it's something that we need to bring together. My dad was also a writer, and they say that all the greats, like the musicians and all the rest, had a bit of mental health issues. I want to do something on creativity and mental health. It would be great to get support. And my YouTube show is doing well, but it would be good to get, some sponsorship and support for the YouTube show and for the advocacy. I'm putting myself out there and sharing my lived experience, which is something a lot of people don't do when they look like me. But I'm boldly saying, I'm high functioning, but I'm struggling. I have depression, I have complex PTSD, which is being explored, and a host of other things. So I want to put that out there, and I hope organizations will see that and say we want to be behind that. We don't get to see this. We don't get to see someone who says, I have something, and I want to talk about it, and I need help to talk about it.
Bachua, thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
too.
I just want to add my little piece of, if it's awareness creation or what should I call it? Soft landing, again, what I do that works for me. I take away the power in my situations that people can use to shame me. So, for example, if you heard that I was shaking my booty on a yacht somewhere, I did that. Yes, and so I tell the young ones that whatever you did with your full chest. Take away the power from that so that people cannot use it to shame you. Otherwise, you're walking around looking over your shoulder and feeling like everybody knows my situation and you can't live out loud. What do you say to that as a psych?
It's the number one thing I pushed on my son. It's called accountability and ownership. So own your behaviors, take stock of them. If you consider it to be negative, find a way to change. If you consider it to be okay, own it. Let's not hide behind what we do. I love that you said that with your full chest. So I take account, like the end of the relationship, I said to the guy, I take accountability for my part. I was a bit too much. I was a bit too clingy. I was a bit too this. It's a skill when you have self-awareness and you can own it. It's perfect soft landing. I'm glad that's the last thing that
I like
you
yours
said.
better. Own it.
Own it.
Own it.
Own it.
So what's the YouTube channel again?
The Boachua Glover Show, and it can be found on YouTube. All my channels are Boachua Glover. So whether it's Instagram or Facebook or whatever, Boachua Glover will get you there.
And Boachua is spelled B-O-A-K-Y-E-W-A-A. Boachua Glover was my guest for this conversation on mental health. And that's how we're actually capping off the mental health conversations on the AM show for this month of May. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Pleasure.
Okay, so Boachua Glover is an organizational psychologist. She's an author. She's a media personality. Go check out her YouTube, The Boachua Glover Show, and you will be inspired. Now, before I pop off, you want to get ready for the 7th Ghana Football Awards. Join us on June 14th at the Palms Convention Center for a night of excitement, glamour, and celebration of Ghana's finest football stars. Let's unite the nation once again through football. Ghana Football Awards is a Football Impact Africa initiative powered by Activate 360 and proudly supported by the Multimedia Group and A&E Mediacom. Ghana Football Awards, celebrating the stars of our passion. Still to come, Benjamin Akakpo's Blunt Thoughts, Noella Karim's E-Corner, and so many more. We'll be right back.
Welcome back on the AM show. Time now for me to share with you my blunt thoughts for the day. And I've titled it Shocking Fraud in Our Embassy, Soaring Corruption on Our Streets, and Sickening Attacks on Our Journalists. Why we need to change course now. Shocking fraud in our embassy, soaring corruption on our streets, and sickening attacks on our journalists. Why we need to change course now. At a point, I'll play a short video for you, but let me start from here. And you know, some things happen in this country, and it just leaves me thinking, what the heck is going on? Seriously. Some things just beat your imagination, and about how long they can fester. So I'm starting from here. Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, and everything that has come up so far. He says his illegal extra charges, and you know the story I'm talking about, which were not approved by the Ministry and Parliament as required under the Fees and Charges Act, ranged from $29.75 to $60 per applicant. Now, the investigations reveal that he and his collaborators operated this illegal scheme for at least 5 years. And when we talk about collaborators, definitely there would have been those who were here in Ghana, Miami, also collaborating so that they can milk the state. My question, my surprise is how long this went on. But let's do the figures for a bit, yeah? Let me just take a quick look at the figures. So, like I said, $29.75 and $60. If you do the calculation, right, at least, the claim is that it went on for at least 5 years. right, from 2017. At least for 5 years, this went on. Now, if we do the mathematics, the breakdown, you would realize that the estimated loss to the country that was diverted to this linked, website and all of that was a minimum of 743,000 plus. It's not exactly this. If they were charging the $29.75, and if it was $60, you are looking at a maximum of $1.5 million. If you use a factor of 10 or 11 based on the exchange rate now, what are you getting? You are getting about 11 plus million Ghana cedis. That's how much over time these people decided to take and put in their own pockets. I've worked in an embassy setting before, in a visa section before. I know how things work. How this could have gone on and gone on for so long. Like I said the other day, Ghana ha. Now, the minority has waded into this, and we have Nana Kwame Asafweje Aye, a deputy ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee. He says, let me first and foremost place on record that the minority is not against sanctions or the punishment of wrongdoers, never. But we feel that there should have been more consultation, more diplomacy, and tactfulness in handling this matter. He also says, for you to come out and say that because of a fraud allegation, you are closing an entire embassy. By the way, it started with a unit. These were the people in the IT department. And later, based on certain considerations, this action was taken. And to say which is the embodiment of a country in another land, we disagree. There are ways to uphold standards without shutting down the embassy. You think stakeholders like the US government would be comfortable dealing with an embassy that Ghana's own minister has declared fraudulent? This is why we insist the minister's approach was flawed. Let me just say on this point that to some extent I agree with the minority. I feel because of the image and also because of the far-reaching consequences. It's only yesterday the embassy reopened, per what I gather. And within that period, there would have been some discomfort for ordinary Ghanaians or even people trying to get into Ghana. So maybe there could have been a bit more consideration. I wouldn't say tact, consideration. However, the mere fact that this went on for this protracted period, telling me, they bossed my mind. I don't know what to make of it. But he probably knows a bit. Daniel Kingsley Atabwafo is former consular general in New York. And when I heard what he said, I was left scratching my head. Because he says, to the best of my knowledge, I know that in Washington, what they were doing was people used to mail their parcels to the embassy. But they were charging some extra fee. So some people knew. For people to pay before they mailed the parcel back to them. And at a point when I saw it, I was trying to ask that who gave approval? Sir, when you asked, what came up? What did that lead to? I ask because I've also heard some elements in the New Patriotic Party say, oh, in fact, one person saying he even went there, he had some interactions, he was investigating, and that someone offered him to pay him $10,000 a month so that he would keep his mouth shut. Imagine how much they were making for them to be able to say that, oh, we'll pay you $10,000 a month. Don't say anything. But in any case, they still went on, didn't they? So if you really meant to out them, why didn't you say anything? Why are you talking now that it's been found out? He goes on to say, and when I saw it, I was trying to ask that who gave approval? Because if you want to give some charges to anybody, it should come from the ministry. So how did this happen? When I worked in an embassy, there were certain things that even if we wanted to do from the visa section, not even the nationals there, it would have to go to that country for approval and back. So how did this happen? It's a blot on our conscience. It shouldn't happen again. Now, then, of course, we know that yesterday the ministry was reopened, and we are glad for that. But that takes me to my second point, corruption in Ghana. Because even as we are talking about corruption that has taken place at our embassy in Washington and all of that, how about right here in Ghana? Per the latest Ghana Statistical Service Governance Series report, bribes to public officials in 2024. Now, 18.4% of people who interacted with a public official gave a gift. Now, the current administration has its code of conduct and how much you can give and all of that, but 18.4%. Now, out of that, 85.20% was hard kwacha, dinero, kudi, cash. 9% food, drink, or animals. And this reminds me of some of the Anasa exposés, Ghana in the Eyes of God and all of those other ones. Then exchange services, 4%. And exchange services, I know sometimes it can be tricky. some not also. Valuables, 1.4%. Now, men, oh men. Men were more likely to give cash while women gave food and non-monetary items more frequently. And then the Greater Accra and Ashanti regions recorded the highest incidence of bribery, with 22% and 18.1% of respondents respectively acknowledging that they had given gifts to public officials. And 74.9% of these payments or gifts were made following a direct or indirect request from the public official involved. The police emerged as the most frequently cited for such requests. Ghana police are prayer. Anyway, at 32.4%, that was them, followed by local government officials at 15%. If you've been to any of our ministries sometimes, you'll understand. But just to cap off the entire conversation, I want us to watch this, because these silly attacks on journalists must stop. I want you to watch this footage.
You are live on my brother. You see, we keep saying that in this country, if there will be war in this country, it will come from the journalists. We've been here with you since you in person. Yes. In fact, the security people were attacking you. They say you don't have an ID card. They were forcing you to delete. So right now, I've been assaulted. I've been assaulted with this pebble. And the assault is captured live on television. I have been assaulted by individuals. Turn the camera. Turn the camera. It's captured live on television. You are live on television. Can I speak? You can speak. Let me register it. I'll come back to you. So we are putting it on record.
You see, the problem with our political actors, this whole bit, I keep saying, let's mass up. Oh, Wuntumi is, let's mass up. Oh, Malik Basintale, in the last elections. Let's mass up. When the people go there, what are they going to do? You are inciting them. Like we saw in Parliament when it was happening at the AICC. And then Frank Anodompre, people coming. All of those things create problems. I'm not saying that you can't do certain things as parties, NDC and MPP. But when you incite the people to go there, some of these things happen. Now, what you didn't see in the video was where they were shoving Lateef Idrisu, hitting his head. This is someone who has suffered assault before many years ago. That matter is still in court at the police headquarters. At what point does this senselessness stop? And then you ask politicians, and somehow they saw when Wuntumi was attacked, but they didn't see when our journalist was attacked. Well, even the whole thing about when I say Wuntumi was attacked, when they claim he was manhandled, right? But the one on Lateef Idrisu, our reporter, and I'll spend time on this, that one, no one saw. What kind of hypocrisy is that? And yet when you're hosting events, you want us, the same journalists, to come and cover for you. It's a shame. And you should stop it, regardless of whose ox is God. Now, journalists serve the public interest by reporting events as they unfold. Any attempt to obstruct or intimidate them is not only an attack on press freedom, but also a threat to democracy itself. That's our statement that we are making. Media Foundation for West Africa, this attack is not only a gross violation of the journalists' rights, but also a dangerous affront to press freedom and the public's right to information. If you go on, the Africa Development Council, the perpetrators of this dastardly act, and this is where my interest is, must be brought to book. We appeal to the president to, as a matter of urgency, direct the police to do the needful regarding this assault case. And I expect the party as well, the New Patriotic Party, to assist in getting this done. We can't keep on like this. This act violates the rights of the journalists and also erodes press freedom and the public's right to information. Journalists must be free to conduct their work without fear or reprisal. Attacking journalists undermines the essential role they play in society. This is bad and shameful. That's from Journalist Sanctuary International. Let me cap off. Now, the regional command per the police is reviewing all of available evidence, including the video recordings and eyewitness testimonies, to establish the facts of the case and identify any individuals responsible. I hope that happens. Now, the impact of all of this World Press Freedom Index. Look at how we've been dropping over time. I have 2 slides and I'm gone. From 2014, 27th, did better, 22nd the following year, 26th, 23rd, and look at where we've fallen. We fell to 62nd in 2023, and it's only last year that we clawed back. But the real data, this is the final slide, we've not really improved. Because if you look at 2023, 65.93, and 2024, not much of a difference. Look at how high we rose before, 79.19, and look at where we are, which is why such actions should not be perpetrated. Not by political parties, not by political actors. And where it must be condemned, it must be condemned. We stand by Lateef Idrisu, and we shall push for the right thing to be done. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. These are my blunt thoughts shared with you, raw, hot, unedited, undiluted. May God bless and help Ghana and make her great and strong. Thank you for watching.
And once you hear that signature tune, you know what time it is. It's time for your favorite segment on the show. I do say so myself. Of course, it's E-Corner on the AM show. It's time for us to water down everything you have consumed, so that can digest beautifully, right? And so, yeah, you're welcome to the show. We are wrapping up, Mental Health Month, and it's such a good day to talk about mental health. I'll be talking more about it. Lots of my stories actually are related to mental health, and so you should look out for that. My name is Noella Karen Yali, and of course, this is E-Corner. All right, so top of the morning again to you. This is E-Corner live right here on Joy News Television with me, Noella Karen Yali. And like I said, we are wrapping up the Mental Health Month. First of all, shout outs to Bwachua Glover for that beautiful, excellent interview she had with Sweetie Abochi. Very educative, very informative. I learned a lot of things that I didn't know what was going on, especially with me. I got to really understand, thanks to that interview. And I think we should have more of that, right? So that we are educated, so that we are not naive when something is really happening to you, especially when it comes to your mental health. You know how to go about it, because the mind is everything, right? The mind is everything that controls our being, our existence, and all of that. So yeah, this is us, our way of telling you to prioritize your mental health this month. Well, the month has ended. I'm also excited because we get to enjoy our salary as well, right? I'll be waiting for my tip from yours. Anyway, let's begin with our first story, and I'm going to start with a gentleman called Tulenki. Fantastic musician. That's his picture. If you don't know him, I'll be telling you more about him. But yeah, fantastic musician. He's quite learned as well, right? In fact, there's one of his songs that's very popular. You probably have heard it, but don't know it's from him, or, can't put a name to that face. Well, this is Your Girlfriend by Tulenki. That's just Tuesday night. Hey, so that is Your Girlfriend by Tulenki. Beautiful song. I mean, it was a hit when he released it. It's still a hit. Definitely. There's absolutely no way you won't bop your head or something when you hear the sound. But that's far from the point. So 3 weeks ago, or should I say 3 weeks ago, when we had TGMAs, he, represented in a very different, weird, interesting way, right? He was dressed up sharply, but he had, like a plaster, on his mouth. And a lot of people were like, what's going on? People actually couldn't even make him out first. I don't want to talk too much. That's the visuals you're watching on your screens. That's how he appeared at the TGMAs, clad in black with that on his lip. And it didn't end there. He won an award. I think he won High Life Song of the Year for his song with, Hip Life Song of the Year with his song. I mean, a song he featured B-Strap, KOTM on. I would have played that song for you, but the video is not something that you lot should be looking at early this morning. So I'm not going to play that song. But let's listen to, or let's watch how he received that award on the night of the TGMAs. Watch.
Song of the year is Bad Feeling by Tulenke featuring Beatstrap, KOTM. Tulenke, congratulations, brother.
Congratulations, Tulenke, Best Hip Life Song of the Year. Well deserved. Congratulations to Tulenke, Best Hip Life Song of the Year. A round of applause for him, please. Show some love. And if you're watching us live on TV, let us know what you think about all the awards presented on this stage tonight with the hashtag TGMA26. Well, he's a man of few words or no words, if you like. Well, show some love, please. A round of applause for him.
Very interesting, very unique. I mean, I loved it. There was a mystery behind it. I was wondering, wait, what's happening? Is that his new, sense of branding, or what's going on? Well, he came by the Hit Studios this week, had a beautiful conversation with DJ Slim and Dorin Avio, and he explained why he did that. And apparently, it was a protest or some sort of like him advocating for men who have to deal with a lot of things but be silent because it's it's in the chest of the man. Watch.
The TGMA, Charlie. Man, them say you no go speak.
Oh yeah, Charlie.
We are not going to say anything. We know what.
Never, not a word.
Not even a single word.
I'm telling you.
But what was it about? What inspired that creative direction?
It's a message. What I did there, you get it. It symbolizes pain through silence.
Okay.
So it's for every man who's going through a lot of things and are scared to speak up. You see Ghana here with the man, and they see man say, man not for sure emotions or anything. So if you voice out, they see you to be weak. Yeah. So it's for every man. Yeah.
True.
All right. I mean, that's good. In fact, let me clap for him because, I mean, when it comes to mental health, a lot of times I feel that the focus is more on the women than the men. We tend to think that, you're a man, you can handle it. Be a man, be tough, But I've realized that a lot of men go through a lot, but because of society's tag and expectations and what have yous, they have to cope. Boachua Glover was talking earlier about coping amidst, mental health struggles. So I love the fact that he decided to dedicate an important night like that for him to advocating for men and mental health, right? And there's another story I want to share with you that's also related to mental health. And then I have an interview with a very special person to talk about mental health as well. So let's talk about singer Jackie, who was also a guest on Showbiz A to Z, my personal favorite show on radio, on Joy FM. It's on every Saturday at, I think, 2 p.m. Yeah. And so she was on with Kwame Datsi. They had a brilliant conversation. And she was asked what she's learned, whether or not she's been able to learn a thing or two from her fans on social media or whatnot. And she had an interesting answer. Watch.
I just learned to appreciate what I really feel is right. Because one person will say, I don't like the way your hair is always short. Another person will also say, I don't like it when your hair is long. you know. So it's like, what do you want me to do? So what am I going to do? I'm going to do what I feel is right, or I feel my audience is going to enjoy, because whatever I am putting out is what is gathering the people that are in my market or my fan base. So in the beginning, I was really allowing a lot of the bad critics to get to me, but right now I just drop the music and do exactly what I've been brought on earth to do.
Are you on social media?
Yes, 100.
Very active, reading everything.
Very, very active. I don't like to read anymore. Right now, I just drop it and then go, because sometimes, you know, the mind is very tricky. You might think, if I see anything, I'm not going to let it get to me, but you might see one comment and your entire week will be ruined, because you're a human being. You know, you have feelings. So I've tried. It's not like I don't do it entirely. Sometimes I do go through, but I've actually stopped the habit of reading through every comment on anything I put out.
All right, so that was Jackie sharing with us how she copes with, you know, social media, the pressure. You know, as creatives, they go through a lot. And because you're not in their shoes, from afar, you really cannot relate to what they go through. Sometimes, you know, you'd see a musician or a celebrity on the streets or somewhere, and you try to be nice with them, and you're met with hostility. And then you go around saying, oh, that's a very bad person. You know, you never know what they go through. They go through a lot. And she's been talking about how she used to prioritize what a lot of people would share via her comment section, you know, with regards to her music. And she used to prioritize that a lot. And that, you know, took a toll on her. And so she's found a way to, you know, go around it. And, you know, kudos to her. I think we all should find ways to combat these mental health issues. But the man that was interviewing her is called Kwame Datsi. He is a fantastic host. He's here with me. And there's a reason why he's here with me on sets today. So this Saturday, come Saturday, we're having the Showbiz Roundtable discussion, the 6th edition. Now, it's a masterclass. This is something I call a masterclass. We've had 5 editions so far, majority of which I've been an MC. I think we've had one on political manifestos. We had that during the campaign period. We've had one on events. We've had a lot. You know, I don't want to talk a lot about it. The main man, the moderator, the brain, or part of the team of, you know, that event is here to talk to us about why they're dedicating the 6th edition to mental health awareness, especially when it comes to the creative industry. And so Kwame Datsi is here with me.
Noella.
Hi, Kwame.
I'm happy about the premise you've laid.
Right.
With all the stories from Tulenke to Jackie and all that. But there are more people who've been through this. Remember Aduma's story?
I do.
Remember Camido recently? About Heartbreak?
Right.
Remember Kiddy?
Yeah.
You remember OV?
Yeah.
When she was dropped from Benetton Music?
Yeah.
And a number of others.
Yeah.
So it tells you people are going through a lot, especially the creatives, just as you said earlier on. And most times, they're not able to tell their stories. Just a few of them are able to come out to say what is worrying them. And so we, as a media company that always seeks to educates people about things in the industry or things that affect the industry. This edition of Showbiz Roundtable, we're going to make sure that we give them the education from the experts' opinions and from the creative industry opinions. So we have various people coming together, as we always do on Showbiz Roundtable this Saturday, tomorrow.
I mean, I personally find it very interesting how personally, as human beings, we all seem to go through something, you know, some sort of battle with life.
Life challenges.
But then when it comes to celebrities, it's like we want to look at them as superstars or superhuman beings, you know? And I want to build that question and ask, you have interviewed quite a number of, you know, celebrities. What are some of the common causes of their, you know, mental breakdowns?
Sometimes it's pressure. It's the pressure to make it. You know, there are some people who maybe they will release a song today, the next moment they want to release another hit song. A hit song is not coming. And so people keep asking, this guy is a one-hit wonder artist.
Right.
Some of these comments get to them so much, to the extent that some of them may not even come back again because of the effects of that comment on them.
Yeah.
There are some people who also compare themselves to other artists or other creatives. So you say that, oh, Noella is doing well. Noella has won, let's say, a BET. Maybe I even came into the industry before Noella, but she's doing fantastic. Why am I still here? When they think about all these issues, it gets to them, and then they start asking themselves, am I not good enough?
Right.
And then another thing is also about financial problems when you have the name and you're not making money.
And we can talk about the late Dada KD. Yes. You know, he was very vocal, very candid, open about his struggles. But, you know, he spoke a lot about it on interviews.
You know that thing about you getting the fame, but you have nothing to show
for it. Very painful.
When you step out there, people want to see you in a certain light. Is he well-dressed? Does he have a car? Does he have a house? And all these things, when you think about them, you have issues with your mental health. So as a people, as creatives, we need to think about how to manage such situations when they come. And we'll be speaking to Dr. Albert Sedo here. He's a psychiatrist. And then our own Note Dua, who is host of Ultimate Health on Joy FM, will be on as well. We speak to a creative entrepreneur who has also worked with creatives for a long time, Nanaya Oredu. He once managed Nanaya, daughter of Pat Thomas.
Right.
Yes, he will be in the studio as well. Then we speak to Natalia Ando, broadcaster and voice actor. She has a story to tell as well. She's also one person with a background in counseling psychology. Then we have also a conversation with Kojo Q.
Kojo Q, also very vocal about mental health.
Yes, he also mentioned what he went through some time ago. Sometimes when you don't hear of them, you might think, oh, they are preparing to come back.
Right.
For all you know, they are going through some challenges. And for him, he had to travel. And he used that as therapy.
Okay.
Traveling saved him. There were some people like Adoma who had to resort to acting. So she took her mind off music.
I remember when she started doing stage plays and, you know, taking up roles. A lot of people are, this girl, she's not serious. Why are you switching? Why can't you keep up to... I mean, we can be so unkind with our words.
And there is one thing you mentioned earlier on, which is the social media trolls. You remember some time ago, Sally Galley on social media, when somebody came at her, you know, just mocking her
for not being able to give birth, right?
So when you put all these things together, you see the creative as somebody who is very vulnerable when it comes to mental health challenge. Any other person might have these issues, but you see, you are not in the limelight. You are sitting you're somewhere.
So you cannot relate.
But for the creative, for the public figure, everybody is looking up to you. Everybody is, they see you on television. You sing for them. You perform, you make them happy. But how do you make yourself happy? You remember the story of Robin Williams. Yesterday, Lexus Bill was sharing this with me in 2014, where he committed suicide. Took his life because as a comedian, he was battling depression from relationship issues, financial issues, and all that. This was somebody who would mount the stage, make people happy. But was he happy?
He wasn't, obviously, he wasn't. So we're wrapping up Showbiz Roundtable 6th edition on mental health in the creative industry. What are some of the things you're going to be touching on? What should creatives look out for?
So we'll be looking at some of the symptoms, things you would see that will prompt you that you're having challenges with your mental health. Then we look at some of the causes, so the various causes of mental health challenges. Then we go to the extent of looking at the remedies available. So we have all these experts on the roundtable to help us tomorrow.
So it's on at what time?
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. usual time. This time we are doing this in the studio of Joy FM.
In the studio, Joy FM. So it's going to be live on Joy FM.
Live on Joy, live on our social media handles as well.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Kwame, you've been awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you
for joining me to talk about Showbiz Roundtable. It's the 6th edition, and this time we're focusing on mental health. I'm so excited for this one, especially in the creative space. Very important, you know. They go through a lot. They go through a lot, and I hope it's going to be a platform where they feel safe to open up and probably share
from their perspective so we can all understand and be more kinder with our words and how we relate with, our celebs. So that's it for our show today. I'm hoping that we've done justice to Mental Health Month, this whole month. I hope so. But yeah, I'm going to, let Sweetie wrap it all up for us. She has, all the words, good words. I'm Noella Kariale. Let's take a quick breather, and the next face you see will be Sweetie Abochi.
I can no longer imagine what Friday on the AM show would be without E-Corner from Noella Karin Neely. And that's how we're wrapping up the show this morning on the AM show, the Friday edition. Hopefully we have served you throughout the entire week. Don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Waylead Properties, and we provide quality housing at an affordable cost with flexible payment options. A few dedications going out. The first, happy 11th birthday to Manuel Kofi Amponsa Omare Boateng of Bishop Bowers School, Class 5G. Pray God's blessings for you. Continue to enjoy more grace and grow in power and love from your parents, siblings, and family. Happy birthday, Manuel. This is also going out to Mr. Christopher Memphis Emisa Kwenu of Dansoman Railway Quarters. We wish you God's abundant blessings. May he richly bless you and make you great always. Remain blessed. And this is coming from your coach and CEO of Fitness for Life, Dansoman, and the entire team. Happy birthday going out to you. And everyone really who's celebrating their birthday today, I wish you a happy birthday. Benjamin Akakpo and I did this, and my name is Sweetie Abochi. We'll see you again next week, but stay for Joy News Desk.